62. Sure lights at you. Your hands are done.
I'm out with it. I got 2 right now on the ground.
6-2 is going to the person shot and the team at the end of it.
They weren't clear that table.
Okay. Where are you at? Is only just you in here?
Yeah.
Okay, who else is here?
New 19 with 701 at 113 Candlewood Drive.
Okay, where's the suspect? Where's the people that shot?
I don't know, he ran off somewhere that way.
Okay.
They get rescued out of the house.
606, we have 2 down. I have 1 female in a vehicle, a Range Rover. And I have 2 appear to be 1032 right now. Nope, stand away. Stand away.
Around 2 appear to be 1032, 1 female inside the vehicle.
Stand over by the vehicle. Stand over by the vehicle, okay?
I'm sorry.
Last direction of the suspect is behind the Kia building.
Around 2 appear to be 1032, 1 female inside the vehicle. Building. We'll take this to Cap 3. Cap 3 will be out for the 4102 studio. I'll see with you.
I don't know where he came from. He came like from over here and he was like he just put down. All I know is that he had gray hair.
Talk to the victim.
He had gray hair. And
Did he come from in the building?
I don't know if he came from in the building or he came from around.
1014.
Yeah, thanks, bro.
I'm steady. I think 60 is going to handle the scene. I'm going to work on the perimeter. We got plenty of units coming here. We get us back down for the perimeter.
Well, we'll take it to Cap 3. Cap 3 will be out of service for QAC on the
I'll handle the perimeter. All right, if you can handle the perimeter, it's going to handle the only one here, so whoever's turn on the stadium from Howard, can you get up to what issue for an airport, please?
633, just update real quick. The suspect was possibly right now along with Black Coat. He went northbound behind the building. 6-3 clear on white male. We were Black Coat northbound behind the building. Also, just to advise, we do have a witness over at the parking lot who is waiting to be spoken to.
10, so you can copy on tag 3. Just FYI, there is possible there could be other victims here. The witness doesn't know if he came from one of the businesses. However, for perimeter for now, let's spread people out on campus. We'll use stadium as the south perimeter, and we'll focus north from here. And I'm going to need 2 units on scene at the dealership of rifles to go to the K9.
L3 radio, is County just taking shots fired, or do they have someone shot at night?
Yes, the suspect vehicles, Cracker Barrel, Chevy, Blue, HHR, they're getting further. Okay. Apparently there is 1 victim.
Victim right now. Any similarity? Okay, 21, 24, and 11 are going to head that way.
Let's go, boy. Clear on 31, 11, and 24 headed that way.
5003. What else is okay? Actually, excuse me. Make contact with 6 Wing at the Burger King real quick, and then give me a call. Sure. 6 Wing, come up. Yeah.
3126 with MSP. I'll advise momentarily.
So you joined the deal, Trevor?
I was looking for 20, but I believe you didn't take it. 3120.
You live? No, this one's not on the radio. This lady alive? Sorry?
Today I got multiple shots fired into a vehicle. Looks like I got 135. At least 135 with 2.
Clear enough.
A couple of
28. Ocean 300 Victor 61 and 3 Zebra Victor 29. Looks like I got another 35 in a secondary vehicle.
That one's dead. He's looking at another one. There's a female in the back seat, driver's side.
3138 today, please.
From what?
3
Zebra Victor 29. Come back from minivan, silhouette, has 135 in the front driver's seat.
The other
vehicle, the 28 I gave you, has 3 occupants, at least 135. I'll advise on the rest.
10 what?
I'm clear at Plea. I'll be checking businesses on the west side here.
Anything?
Correct.
Anything else? Ambulance is coming. We need at least 2.
You in the bed bag?
Clear on 2 ambulances.
What do you need, Nielsen?
5143 from 06.
Did you guys see anything?
Is this one ours or is it county? I thought you were the first one out, but I might be wrong.
All right, go sit in it. We'll come talk to you in just a minute.
I'm not sure yet.
Is that a kid?
Okay, yeah, that'll be ours. Do a double improvement.
Where's he at?
From 06. Once you get in the area, find out where the victims are going and head right to the hospital.
We need this thing roped off now.
Yeah, man.
I need something for an airplane. I got nothing for a fucking airplane. Help me get her out, will you? Yep. I'm going to me out, okay? I'm going to help you. Can you walk?
We got at least 3 out here.
Clear on 335.
Leave her sitting here. Yeah, leave her sitting there.
So you can make sure 15 at Bronson's or occurring.
10 4.
Ma'am? Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
Team.
Check the front yet? I'm going to go with no. Yeah. 1, 2, what's your back seat there? You're in the van. 1. What's that one? Put it right here. Your passenger seat, is that alive? They still alive? Yeah, she is. 1.
Can you come to the please?
No, don't bring her out. Don't bring her out. Yeah. No. Are you nice? Driver of the other vehicle is in the 4. Oh, yeah. 3 confirmed that it worked in this one, and that is a problem. Hey, George. What's going on? Confirmed fatal in the front. 2 confirmed fatals here.
5136 from 06, where are you at?
That's what we're trying to say. There are witnesses inside that saw the vehicle leaving.
You where?
But I don't know if they see what happened.
Talking with the witnesses right now.
That place has cameras.
Okay, I need one of you to
Who's that? I don't know, dude. For a sack. Small child.
2-4 Dalton. Go ahead. It's going to be at least 15 minutes in the video. We've got to call the general manager so we can watch it.
2 confirmed, 1 confirmed, 1 barely, then that kid.
County 5106, can you have somebody block off the entrance to this entire area back at the road? 312, got it.
What you need from me? Alright. Can you? Hey, back straight up. Back straight up. Coming back to you. Oh, we got a fucking problem. What the fuck is this? Same shooter as yours? I think so. And I have a feeling it might be the same shooter as ours. Yeah. Our first one.
Anyone?
Got a 50-year-old white male.
Please put sheet of rendering information in dispatch.
Which is what we have. And it sounds just drove through the parking lot and unloaded. It sounds like that.
Our unit's doing a secondary around the Ford dealership and Kia just to check for more possible victims.
Where?
We're on secondary around the Kia and Ford dealerships for possible victims.
Yeah, we just had a double shot on stadium. We think of the best.
40-63.
I think this is the random ship. So, my theory, kind of had one to get to the ship.
From your witness,
Right?
can you confirm blue HA car or what kind of suspect vehicle?
She did not see a vehicle at all.
Clear. 40 to the unit that had the cell phone video.
And Robert. Call 152-130 interface for shots fired.
Location.
Alright, Parole, how you want to do it? Alright, ready?
County 5106, you call. You're on a county stop on Ransom, just east of Porter County, Kerry County.
Last location was north in Pitcher.
Ransom and Porter County, Ransom and Porter.
Clear on it, Ransom and Porter.
Anything your back up at all?
Multiple cars on film.
Clear on it, multiple cars, felony stop.
Gun. Stuff them up.
Yeah, fire. We didn't come through.
0 John King Henry. 303. We got one in custody. One weapon
Off of them.
Jason Brand. Don't please throw one in custody, one weapon off of him. Where's he going?
The unit on the north right there, blocking the road.
Dirty rail playing this unit down Wallbridge.
Anyone go ahead.
Kong, are you good with him?
DALTON versus Jason. Who's it north?
It's a real gun. It's pointed right towards Beth's face. Hot.
Yeah, it is.
Nice job, Colin.
My car is burning.
Highly combative subject in custody and no unit.
322 or 23.
Let's leave it for a second on photo before we do anything with it.
Kenny 19-113, he's got uncooperative in custody. 2.
Yeah, 40.
09 Clinton, number 1. Ross.
You hear a lot of yelling and screaming.
We ordered them out.
Appears to be inside.
As we were walking up,
Outside United
hands up, we were ordering them out. As we were coming up like this, I'm standing there holding cover. They're Kong and Miller are taking them out on that side. As they're taking them out, they take the gun and put it on top of the car and never says a word to them.
Where was the gun?
His back waistband. Never said a word to him. Yeah. Fucking hands out the window, never said a fucking word to him. I don't know. I was just going to say that there's a whole bunch of dead bodies now.
We got to check all the fucking car lots.
He came back and stopped at the fucking up and under. Or if he drove around. I don't know.
Any regard. Yeah, you just got all done for now.
The grandma and the kids both got transported both times.
Wait, 5 out there?
Yeah, they had 5.
They ended up in 5 out there?
5 out there. And then, I think this is Mahari's thing. Mahari is the troop that's at the hospital.
Can we get K2?
The grandma's a K. The little girl's not going to make it.
God dang it. He's got to have
Can we get K2?
killed his wife and everything else. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I mean, that's it. Fucked up with it.
20 to 32.
I'll tell you what, the way he treated those fucking, gunned them fuckers down and see them.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see the video.
Oh, I can't even imagine. Just watching, just looking at a car.
Wait all the way down 94.
Perfect.
Wow.
They're just standing there, looking at it, and he parks his car, he gets out, he walks up to them, talks to them, and they were still on the ground when he was getting...
I made it to 94.
So did he ever run to the back of the building?
No, what did he park? He parked right in the very front. So where they were at?
Yeah.
Parked right in front of the building.
Really? And just walked over to him?
They just walked right over to him, and then there was a BMW there, checked the door. I think he thought that that's what they came in. He was looking for more people.
Oh.
And the door was locked, so they ran right back to his car.
I didn't see the video, but from what I can tell, just looking at the scene out at Cracker Barrel, red car sitting here, he probably pulled up in front, walked up to the front corner of the front driver's corner of the van, and just started. Because the car's got a couple through the windshield, through the side window, van's got at least one through the driver's window, and then through the 2 passenger side window. I found 11. I found 11 cases that I marked. So that's...
Eastbound or westbound or north? Eastbound. Clear back. Slow south, eastbound or north, good picture.
Driver, stick your hands out the window!
5-2 has the Rampage for shots fired.
Keep your hands out where we can see them. Neighbor sir.
Clear on it. Clear on it, multiple cars, felony stop.
Student registration of DA2696, DA2696. I don't think this is going to be us. Sample.
Figure we got one in custody, one weapon off of him.
City's clear, one in custody, one weapon off of him.
619 kind of be headed that direction then.
Clear on it. City has one in custody, one weapon off of him.
Figure out if I can get units to shut down Wallbridge, head north, and Pitcher north.
Truck.
That real good.
13-2. 6-7-1.
67 show you 41 minutes.
Alright.
06.
One detained as a firearm on his person.
Clear on it, one detained, firearm on person at 41 minutes.
Yeah, boarded.
09 Clinton, number 1.
Yeah.
2.
Calls the case of State of Michigan versus Jason Brian Dalton, file number 160287FY. Are you Jason Brian Dalton?
Yes.
This matter is scheduled for an arraignment this afternoon. It is alleged by the people of the state of Michigan that on or about February 20, 2016, that the following 16 offenses occurred, and count 1, which is alleged to have taken place February 20, 2016 in the township of Texas, Kalamazoo County, state of Michigan, that the defendant did murder Mary Lou Nye. Guilty of this offense is a felony punishable by a sentence to life imprisonment. Count 2 of the complaint. It's alleged that on February 20, 2016, in Texas Township, Kalamazoo County, state of Michigan, that the defendant did carry or have in his possession a firearm, to wit, a pistol, at the time he committed or attempted to commit the felony of open murder. If guilty of this offense, it too is a felony, punishable by up to 2 years consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony conviction. Count 3 alleges that on February 20, 2016, in Texas Township, Kalamazoo County, state of Michigan, that the defendant did murder Mary Jo Nye. If guilty of this offense, it is a felony, punishable by up to life imprisonment. Count 4 alleges on February 20, 2016, in Texas Township, Kalamazoo County, state of Michigan, that the defendant did carry or have in his possession a firearm, to wit, a pistol, at the time he committed or attempted to commit a felony, that being open murder. If guilty of this offense, it is a felony, punishable by up to 2 years consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony conviction. Count 5 alleges that on February 20, 2016, in Texas Township, Kalamazoo County, state of Michigan, the defendant did murder Barbara Hawthorne. If guilty of this offense, it is a felony punishable by up to life in prison. Count 6 alleges that on February 20, 2016, in Kalamazoo County, State of Michigan, Texas Township, that the defendant did carry or have in his possession a firearm, to wit a pistol, at the time he committed or attempted to commit the felony of open murder. If guilty of this count, it's a felony punishable by up to 2 years consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony conviction. Count 7 alleges that on February 20, 2016, in Texas Township, Kalamazoo County, State of Michigan, that the defendant did murder Dorothy Brown. Guilty of this offense, it is a felony punishable by up to life in prison. Count 8 alleges at that same time, date, and place that the defendant did carry or have in his possession a firearm, a pistol, at the time he committed or attempted to commit the felony of open murder. Guilty of count 8. It's a felony punishable by up to 2 years consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony. Count 9 alleges that on February 20, 2016, in the city of Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo County, State of Michigan, that the defendant did murder Richard Smith. Guilty of this offense, it is a felony punishable by up to life in prison. Count 10 alleges at that same time, date, and place that the defendant did carry or have in his possession a firearm, a pistol, at the time he committed or attempted to commit the felony. If guilty of this offense, it's a felony punishable by up to 2 years consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony conviction. Count 11 alleges that on or about February 20, 2016, in the city of Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo County, State of Michigan, that the defendant did murder Tyler Smith. Guilty of this offense, it is a felony punishable by up to life in prison. Count 12 alleges at that same time, date, and place that the defendant did carry or have in his possession a firearm, to wit a pistol, at the time he committed or attempted to commit the felony of open murder. Guilty of this offense, it's punishable by up to 2 years in prison consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony conviction. Count 13 alleges that on February 20, 2016, in Texas Township, Kalamazoo County, State of Michigan, that the defendant did make an assault upon A.K., a minor child with intent to commit the crime of murder. Guilty of this offense, it's punishable by life or any number of years. Count 14 alleges at that same time, date, and place that the defendant did carry or have in his possession a firearm, a pistol, at which time he committed or attempted to commit a felony, that being assault with intent to murder. If guilty of this offense, it's a felony punishable by up to 2 years consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony convictions. Count 15 alleges that on February 20, 2016, in Richland Township, Kalamazoo County, State of Michigan, that the defendant made an assault upon Deanna Carruthers with the intent to commit the crime of murder. If guilty of this offense, it's punishable by up to life or any number of years. Count 16 alleges at that same time, date, and place that the defendant did carry or have in his possession a firearm, to wit a pistol, at the time he committed or attempted to commit the felony, that being assault with intent to murder. If guilty of this count, it is a felony punishable by up to 2 years consecutively with and preceding any term of imprisonment imposed for the felony or attempted felony conviction. You understand the charges being made against you and the maximum sentences that I just stated. You have the right to the assistance of an attorney and the right to be represented by an attorney at all subsequent proceedings in this matter. If you're indigent or cannot afford an attorney, the court will appoint an attorney to represent you at public expense. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do say, either orally or in writing, can be used against you in court. You have the right to have an attorney present during any questioning to which you consent. Do you intend to retain a private attorney, or do you want the court to appoint an attorney for you at this time? You have the right to have a probable cause conference within 7 to 14 days, and the right to have a preliminary examination 5 to 7 days thereafter. Those have been scheduled. The next court appearance will be a pre-exam conference scheduled for Thursday, March 3rd, 2016, 8:30 a.m. in courtroom N of the Michigan Avenue Courthouse. The preliminary exam itself is scheduled for March 10, 2016, 1:30 p.m. here in courtroom M of the Michigan Avenue Courthouse. With regard to bond, is there anything you wish to tell the court at this time concerning your connections with the community? Very good. The court exercises its discretion under MCR 6.106B1A1 to deny bail at this time as defendant is charged with murder. You will receive a copy of the notice to appear, and that concludes today's hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor. Take care.
All rise.
Good morning. Welcome to Court M. Have a seat. Court calls the case of State of Michigan versus Jason Brian Dalton, file 160287FY, with the parties identify themselves for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kalamazoo County Prosecuting Attorney Jeff Getting on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan.
Morning, Your Honor. Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Jeff Williams, also here on behalf of the people.
Senator Louise here, Judge, on behalf of Mr. Dalton.
Thank you. This matter is scheduled for a preliminary examination this morning. Are there any requested stipulations in the preliminary cases?
We do have a few that I've discussed with defense previously, Your Honor, if I may.
Please.
The first stipulation, Your Honor, if I may approach, or I'll put them into the record, the defense has agreed to stipulate to the autopsy reports for the victims of the homicide counts. That would be counts 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. I've marked these as People's Exhibits 1 through 6. They indicate Exhibit number 1 is an autopsy report for Mary Lou Nye, who was the driver of a Chevy Cruze at the Cracker Barrel in Kalamazoo. An autopsy was performed on her. The cause of death was found to be multiple gunshot wounds, and the manner of death was homicide. Exhibit number 2 is the postmortem examination report for Mary Jo Nye, who was the driver of a minivan that was found at the Cracker Barrel in the county of Kalamazoo. An autopsy was performed on her as well. The cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. The manner of death was homicide. People's Exhibit number 3 is the postmortem examination report of Barbara Hawthorne. An autopsy was performed on her. Multiple gunshot wounds were the cause of death. Manner of death was homicide. Exhibit number 4 is the report for Dorothy J. Brown. Again, an autopsy was performed. Cause of death, multiple gunshot wounds. Manner of death, homicide. People's Exhibit number 5 is the postmortem examination report of Richard Smith, Jr. He was found at the Sealy Motors in the city of Kalamazoo in Michigan. The cause of death was found to be multiple gunshot wounds. The manner of death was homicide. Final exhibit is People's Exhibit number 6. That is Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith's postmortem examination report. An autopsy was performed on him. Again, cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds. Manner of death was homicide. I should say, Your Honor, as Your Honor will be able to see for the report, all of these autopsies were performed by the Western Michigan University School of Medicine. If I may approach, I will give them to Your Honor.
Objection, Mr. Solis.
Judge, the record should reflect that I discussed that with Mr. Williams. For purposes of the exam only, we have no objection.
Thank you. You may approach, counsel.
Your Honor, I anticipate that the court will also be hearing testimony today, and the people will be offering exhibits which are still photographs taken from surveillance videos. Some of those still photographs will be taken from surveillance videos at Sealy Motors on Stadium Drive in Kalamazoo. Some of those are from the Cracker Barrel on Cracker Barrel Drive, also in Kalamazoo County. For purposes of this examination only, the defense has agreed to stipulate to the foundation of those that they are accurate depictions of the scenes that they portray on the night of February 20th of this year, and that they are records kept in the normal course of business at those places.
Is that accurate, Mr. Shields? It is, Judge, for purposes of the preliminary exam today. Thank you.
And finally, Your Honor, one of our witnesses is Detective Lieutenant Jeff Crump from Michigan State Police. He's testified. I don't know if he's been in your courtroom, but I know he's been in both the 8th District and 9th Circuit many times. And Mr. Solis has agreed to stipulate to his qualifications as an expert in the field of firearms identification. And we'll, of course, remind the court of that when it's his turn to testify.
Is that accurate, Mr. Solis? I'm very familiar with Officer Crump's qualifications, and that's correct. Very good.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Congratulations. Then we call you first witness for examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, the people will call Tiana Carruthers.
Some weird taste of watermelon. I've never had that before.
Testimony you're about to give the truth, the truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Please have a seat. Let me get you to state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Tiana Carruthers. Tiana Carruthers. Carruthers.
Very good. Very good. Your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Ms. Carruthers, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of things for me first, okay? Can you scoot yourself up a little bit towards the microphones? Everything's being recorded. We want to make sure that they can hear what you're saying, okay?
No, I just want to sit down.
Thank you. And the second thing is I'm going to ask you to try and keep your voice up so that everybody in the courtroom is able to hear what's being said, okay? Is that a yes?
Yes.
When you and I have a conversation, I can see you nod your head, and when you say mm-hmm and I understand what you're saying, but none of that gets recorded. Okay. So I need you to say yes or no. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
See, that's a good one. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's just a nervous habit. It's something that we all do when we're having conversations. Ms. Carruthers, do you currently live in Kalamazoo?
Yes.
How long have you lived in Kalamazoo?
8 years.
In February of this year, specifically on February 20th of 2016, did you live in Kalamazoo?
Yes.
Do you recall where you were living on that day?
Yes.
Where was that?
Meadows.
Where are the Meadows?
Off of G Avenue.
Is that here in Kalamazoo County?
Yes.
In the state of Michigan?
Yes.
How long had you lived at the Meadows?
2 years.
Did anyone live there with you?
Yes.
Do you have any kids?
Yes.
Do you have a daughter?
Yes.
All right. Did your daughter live there with you?
Yes.
And was she with you that afternoon?
Yes.
We need to talk about what happened that day. So if at any point in time you get nervous, you don't understand what's happening, please just let the judge know, all right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Late afternoon, early evening, 5:30, between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, do you remember what you were doing?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you were doing then?
I was on my way taking my daughter to the park with several other children.
Do you remember how many other?
4.
Where's the park?
Couple. It's located in my apartment complex.
So is it just a couple of blocks away from where you were living?
Yes.
Were you guys walking or taking a car to get to the park?
We were walking.
And so it was you and about 5 other kids?
Yes.
How old were the kids? Basically, are they...
No older than 11.
Were there any other adults with you?
No.
And so you and 5 kids under the age of 11 are walking to the park.
Yes.
When you're walking to the park, did something unusual happen?
Yes.
How did it start?
I was on my way walking towards the park, and a man was driving like an SUV, and he like cut us off, and he asked me I had to actually grab the children because he almost hit us, and so he asked me was I Macy.
Were the kids kind of goofing around and playing with each other as you guys were walking to the park?
Yes.
Were you in the parking lot, in the area where people normally drive?
Yes, in the parking lot going towards the park.
So when this car came up on you, this SUV, do you recall what color it was?
I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it was silver.
So the silver SUV comes up. The driver asks, "Are you Macy or Maisie?" Something to that effect.
Yes.
Did it seem unusual what was happening?
Yes, because it's a really quiet neighborhood where we stay, and I had never seen him out there before.
Were you worried about the kids at that point?
Yes, because he almost like really cut us off and almost hit us. So I grabbed the kids quite aggressively to, just because it just seemed really awkward to me. I just had a weird feeling inside.
So your concern was for the kids, and you wanted to make sure that you kind of got them rounded up.
Yes.
And then what happened?
Well, he pulled off, and we continued to walk. So I just told the kids to, get closer to me. So we continued to walk, and a couple minutes go by, and we don't even make it to the park almost. We're like right there by the sidewalk, and I seen him coming, and I saw a gun.
Intimidator cars. No. They gave bags, these old people, they had these old black bags, they're called, they're black bags, and people drive around and you look at them, it gets real, like, hey, it's time, people look, and then that's when to tell people it's time to get to Temple.
You need to listen to your attorney, right?
Yeah, you need to get to Temple because you need to get going, because it's called intimidator bags.
You need to be quiet in today's proceedings, okay?
Yeah.
If you have anything to say, you whisper to your attorney. That's today's rules, okay?
Okay. So, Ms. Carruthers, are you okay? Or do we need to take a minute?
Take it. All right, we're going to call a recess.
Take it.
If you would escort your victim down into holding.
Over here, honey. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. Where's Gus?
You okay, son?
Come here, Gus.
Let's get her out this door.
Watch my arm.
Yeah, be careful.
Okay.
You can sit there as long as you need to, Tiana.
Do you want to go out or do you want to leave? Okay. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone, honey. He's gone.
That's what I we're going to talk to the judge about that. We're going to go talk to the judge.
All right.
Okay, let's go. Come on, baby. Give me a little chair.
Here, right here.
Where's the penny?
You can do it.
Yes, yes. Okay, just watch yourself. You have to bring it through.
Watch my arm. Yes, I'm not touching it.
Where is he?
Put your feet up, honey.
He's gone. Is he gone? Okay. Okay, thank you. No, we're just going to bring her out for a minute. Oh, okay. Where's Mom? She wasn't ready for his voice.
Right. So leave your end unmuted so he can hear, and then I'll push this so he is able.
Works.
Okay? Yep. Got it? Got it. Is that how you want the camera angled? Is that what you want to
Your buffer's going clean. Yeah, yep, yeah, it's going clear. You find out who's black?
Never mind. My readers. Oh, that's the only one I can keep alive. This one, I'm like, I wouldn't sleep. I'm trying to tell my mom that too. I ain't got time.
You got mine today.
Should we tell the judge what we were going to
Yeah. Did you give him 2 minutes?
Thank you. Welcome back to Court M. Have a seat. Okay, we're back on the record, State of Michigan versus Jason Brian Dalton, file 160287FY. For the record, this morning, Mr. Dalton had one verbal outburst in court, and I explained the situation and warned him that that wouldn't be permitted. It was against the rules here for him to do that. And after that warning, a second time, he again made a verbal outburst and started to jump up from the chair while one of the witnesses was testifying. So the court, for security reasons, had Mr. Dalton removed from the courtroom at that time, and an attempt was made to have him in the building in a secure room, but the sheriff made the determination that there wasn't a safe place to have him participate in the proceedings by video here in the building, so he was transported out to the Kalamazoo County Jail, where he's now in a video room and can see and hear what's going on in the courtroom here today. And his attorney, Mr. Solis, will be given any opportunity that he desires to speak with his client on the telephone during today's proceedings in private. Any objection to proceeding in this matter?
No objection. No, Your Honor, we have no objection. We believe that that's a fair and accurate representation of what happened this morning. We would only ask that Mr. Dalton or the deputy that's with him acknowledge that they can hear the proceedings before we get started with calling witnesses.
Okay, the deputy out there at the jail, can you maybe wave in front of the camera if you can hear what's going on? Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Solis?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Then, Mr. Geddes, you may call Ms. Carruthers back to the stand.
Your Honor, one housekeeping matter, if I may, while Ms. Carruthers is coming in. I mentioned this in chambers, but there's People's Exhibit number 12. Council has a copy. It's a ballistics report authored by the Michigan State Police's Jeff Crump. He'll be testifying later in the proceedings. But with the being no objection from the defense counsel, I'm going to provide a copy to the court now. I think it might help in understanding some of the prior testimony. So if the court would allow it, I'll present it with a copy of People's Proposed Exhibit number 12.
Any objection, Mr. Solis?
There is no objection.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rogers.
Thank you.
to remind you that you're still under oath, okay?
Okay.
All right, you're a witness, Mr. Dead.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. Ms. Carruthers, thank you for your patience as we made arrangements so we could continue your testimony. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Before we were interrupted, you were talking about what happened at the Meadows Apartments on February 20, 2016, and you had told us that a car, a silver SUV, had pulled up, asked you, are you Maisie, something to that effect, and then you had continued with your daughter and several other children towards a playground. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Where did the silver SUV go as you and the other you and your daughter and the other children began walking towards the playground?
It pulled off and then it stopped, and I continued walking with the children.
Were you walking towards where the SUV went or away from it?
No, we were walking away.
And then what happened?
A couple minutes went by, and we were getting close. We were to the park, like by the sidewalk, and I saw him coming back around. And this is all happening like really fast, but it's happening really fast. And I seen like a gun, him with like a gun out the window, and I was like, I didn't know if it was real or I didn't know if it was really happening. So I just, reacted fast, and I just told the kids to run. I didn't care what they heard or what they saw, to run and don't come back no matter what. And then I started screaming to the other children that were playing at the playground to run. And at that time, I began to run.
You said the car came back towards you, the silver SUV?
Yes, really fast.
And you said you could see a gun. Is that a yes?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Was it outside of the window of the car?
It was outside of the car, the window.
Outside of which window?
Of the driver's side.
The driver's side front, driver's side window?
Yes.
When you first saw the car and when you saw it the second time, how many people did you see in the car?
One person and a dog.
Was it a big dog, a little dog?
It was a big dog.
All right. So there's a person and a dog, and the single person that's in the car has a gun.
Yes.
And he's coming towards you?
Yes.
And you see the gun?
Yes.
And you tell the children to run?
To run, yes.
You began yelling to the other children on the playground?
Yes, to run.
What are you yelling at them?
What am I yelling?
Yeah.
To run.
What are you doing?
I'm in the process of running too.
Where?
Running like towards just anywhere, just to take cover. I remember trying to run. I didn't even make it anywhere because I was, busy telling the children to run. I wasn't, honestly, I wasn't concerned about myself. I was concerned about the kids.
How close did the man with the gun get to you?
Probably, I would honestly say from where you are to the front of this.
Your Honor, would the record reflect approximately 10 to 15 feet? So he got close enough for you to see him?
Yes.
And to see the gun?
Yes.
And as you started to run away, and as you yelled at the children to run away, what happened?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
As you're telling the kids to run, and as you start to run because you see this man with a gun, what happened next?
I remember the first bullet hit me in my left arm. Then I remember the next one hitting in my right leg. And then I think it was my I'm sorry.
How many times did you end up getting shot?
4.
Were there more shots fired than hit you?
Yes, I just remember it just I just remember just shooting, and I just remember I tried to move, but I couldn't move. I tried to get under the car, but after I realized he wasn't gonna stop shooting, I just pretended like I was dead already. And after he pulled off, and I realized he was gone, that's when I started screaming for the kids. When I laid there, just screaming for the kids. And the only person I had or anybody with me was the community. Came out, and a lady and a man told me that they had the children and that they were okay, because I wouldn't even respond if I was okay until I knew that the kids were okay.
How far were you able to run before you fell to the ground and were shot repeatedly?
I didn't even make it to the sidewalk. I didn't even make it to the sidewalk.
Do you know what happened with the car? Where this person drove to next?
I remember him driving right, going around the park. As I laid there on the ground.
Can you describe for the judge the injuries you suffered? It's not important what order that you got them, but just tell us about what injuries you suffered as a result of being shot multiple times.
I was shot 4 times. Both of my femurs were broken. A bullet entered through my buttocks, and a bullet is in my liver. I also had, my arm has been completely reconstructed. When I went to the doctors recently, when I looked at myself, I look like the Bionic Woman, literally. It doesn't even look real. My body doesn't look real, but I have metal in 3 different places in my body, screws and bolts. And I hurt every single day. Every single day I hurt. Every single day. Every single day.
The first time that the car pulled up to you and the driver asked for Mazzy or Maisie, whatever, how close did they get to you that time?
Probably from right here to right here. This close. Just from right here to here. Like right in
Face to face.
Yeah.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has described a distance of approximately 2 feet. So you had a chance to get a look at the person who was driving this car?
Yes, I remember it. I remember everything about it. I could never forget anything. I could never forget his face. I see his face every time I go to sleep. I see his face all the time.
Did you see that person earlier today?
Yes.
Was he here in the courtroom?
Yes.
Is he in the courtroom now?
No.
I'm going to ask you to look to your right at the screen there. Do you see the person who shot you on
Yes,
February
I do.
20th?
Yes, I do. I could never forget his face. Ever.
Can you please describe what he's wearing and where he is?
An orange jumpsuit. I don't exactly know where, but
Is he on the screen?
yes, he is on the screen.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the identification of the defendant, Jason Dalton?
So noted.
Your Honor, I don't have any other questions at this time. Thank you.
Mr. Solis.
Thank you. Ms. Carruthers, I just have a few questions for you, okay? So when you were at the apartment complex, and you indicated this individual drove up, were you in the road or were you in the sidewalk?
We were in the road.
Okay. And when he drove up, you ended up on the same side as the driver's side?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Did you end up on the same side as the driver's side when he first pulled up?
Yes.
Okay. And how long did that whole episode take when he said, do you know Maisie?
It was, I'd say 2 minutes, maybe a minute.
Okay. A full 60 seconds?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay. And then this individual drove away?
Really fast, yes.
Okay. And then you indicated he came back around?
Yes.
At some point, did you lose sight of the vehicle?
Yes.
And then you saw it again?
Yes.
Did you see the dog the first time that he pulled up?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Was the dog making any kind of noise?
Yes.
Okay. So the second time you said he was like 8 to 10 feet away.
Yes.
And when you said you saw a gun, could you tell whether he had it in his right hand or left hand?
I couldn't tell.
Okay. Was he completely stopped when you heard the shots being fired?
Yes.
When did you begin to run? Well, let me ask, that wasn't very clear. Did you begin to run before or after the car started moving?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that again?
Yeah, let me rephrase, that wasn't very artful. The second time the vehicle came around, did it come to a complete stop or was it moving?
The second time when it came around, it was coming towards me, and then it stopped.
Okay. Okay. And how quickly was it that you turned away and started running?
It happened really fast. I just know it was really fast. I couldn't give you an exact time. I just know that it happened fast.
Okay. A matter of seconds?
Yes, a matter of seconds.
And when you began running and yelling at the kids, were you looking back or were you just looking at the children?
I was looking at the children.
Okay. And you indicated that you were at some point fell to the ground?
Yes.
And were trying to get under a vehicle?
Yes.
So were you between vehicles?
No, I wasn't between the vehicle.
There was just
There
one
was just
vehicle?
one vehicle on my left side.
Okay.
I believe it was a truck.
Okay. And how quickly could you tell if the car was moving during the shots or was the car standing still during the shots?
The car was still the entire time when he was shooting.
Okay. And at what point did you look back at the vehicle? Or did you?
Only time I remember looking back after he shot, but I looked really quickly before he started firing. That's when I noticed he was coming, and then after he was finished shooting, I saw him pulling off.
Okay. So could you tell then that whether it was his left hand or his right hand that was leaning out the window?
I'm sorry, no, I cannot.
Okay. And when you took the quick look, was that a matter of a second or two?
Yes.
And did he begin moving right after you took that quick look, do you know, or before that?
I waited till I knew he was gone and didn't see me. I waited till he was no longer looking towards me after he started shooting. That's when I started moving and screaming.
Okay. So the vehicle was already gone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you ended up going to the hospital, is that right?
Yes.
And there was an officer who showed you photographs?
Yes, there was.
How many officers were in the room when you were shown the photographs?
I believe 2.
2? Okay. And did they show you a group of photographs or individual photographs?
I know there was several photos, but I don't.
Hello.
I'm getting the audio, I think, from the jail.
I hear it, but I don't know where it's coming from, Jack.
Okay, I'm sorry, but it's not the jail. It was, okay, we're good. Sorry, thank you.
So the question was, did they show you a series of photographs or 6 at one time laid out on a sheet?
I honestly can't remember, but I do know for a fact that there was several photos that I had to pick out which one.
Okay.
And I knew who it was instantly when I.
Well, the truth is, you went through at least 6 before you asked to look at another one, right? Is that true?
I'm sorry, I cannot recall that.
Okay. Well, you didn't say that's him the first time you saw his photograph, did you?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah. But you just testified that you would never forget his face, right?
Yes, I did say that.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing else, Jason.
Mr. Kerry?
Thank you, Your Honor. Very briefly, how many times have you been shot at in your life?
I've never been shot at, ever.
Besides this one time on February 20th?
What's the
Yes.
What's the relevance?
You've questioned the basis for her identification. Clearly, this goes directly towards her ability to identify the person and the seriousness of the situation.
Well, this was removed. She was at the hospital. I mean, I don't see the connection. I'll let the judge rule.
Overall, I'll allow the question to continue. We'll see if it's...
Is this the only time that you've been shot at in your life?
This is the only time I've ever been shot at in my life, ever.
Will you ever forget the person who shot at you?
No, I could never forget anyone who shot.
And did you, in fact, pick out Mr. Dalton's picture when you were questioned by the detectives or by the police at the hospital?
Yes, I did.
I have no other questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Further questions, Mr. Simmons?
Were the photographs, Mrs. Brothers, were they all presented to you in the same manner?
I'm sorry, could you...
Were all the photographs presented to you in the same manner?
Yes, they were.
You know, again, then if they were in the same manner, were they individually or in a group photo?
I'm sorry, do you mean like in the same order or the same... I'm like,
Well,
what do you
like,
mean in the
was
manner?
it shown to you and say you were allowed to look at it the same time frame?
Yeah, everything
Or
was
were
the same.
some longer than others?
No, never. They gave me photos. I looked at them maybe once or maybe twice. And the second time, I do believe that I pointed him out.
Thank you. I had nothing else.
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank you.
May this witness be excused.
I have no objection.
I have no objection.
Thank you.
It's going to take just a second. Your Honor, the people called Jim Dunlop.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear affirm testimony you're about to give to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Please have a seat, state your name, and spell it for the record, please.
My name is James Dunlop, Jamesdunlop.
Mr. Dunlop, how are you employed?
I'm a sergeant with the Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Office, currently assigned to the Forensic Science Laboratory.
How long have you been a police officer?
For 22 years, I've been a sergeant in the crime lab for the past 15.
Do you have any specialized training working in the crime lab?
I do. Inside the lab, I'm a classically trained microscopist, which means that I use a wide variety of different types of styles of microscopes to analyze particles. Outside the laboratory, one of the main things I do is shooting scene reconstructions.
As part of your job duties on February 20th, 2016, were you involved in the investigation of a shooting that took place at the Meadows Apartments?
Yes, I was.
That location is here within the county of Kalamazoo, state of Michigan.
Yes, it is.
What was your role in the investigation?
The scene was, though there was a lot of personnel from the Sheriff's Office there, the scene was primarily worked by myself and laboratory technician Todd Neldon from the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety, where we divided tasks. Todd was the primary photographer and was responsible for seizing the evidence at the scene, while I did supplemental photographs and worked on the evidence pertaining to the reconstruction of the shooting scene.
In addition to the actual shooting scene at the Meadows, were you involved in further investigation of this case?
Yeah, pretty extensively in a number of things.
All right, so what chronologically, after the crime scene reconstruction that you and Deputy Neldon were involved in, where did you go next?
Throughout the course of the evening, I responded. After that scene, we took all the evidence back and secured it in the crime lab. And then laboratory technician Neldon went to the Seeley's location. I went to the Cracker Barrel location, where subsequent shootings had occurred at both those locations. After the defendant was taken into custody, I then responded back to the headquarters where he was being interviewed, performed some services there. I was then requested to go out to the vehicle which he was driving on Ransom Street and seize evidence at that location. And then I was diverted to another location in Comstock Township where another vehicle was recovered. And I obtained evidence and took photographs of that location. That pretty much took care of the first day. The several days throughout the next week, I was involved in a number of other evidence processing events where search warrants were obtained for the vehicles and additional evidence was processed.
The scene in Comstock, where you indicated that you processed a scene at Comstock. Was that a house?
Yeah, it was a house on Durango Street. I was informed by the detectives that that was the defendant's parents' residence.
Specifically, what were you examining there at the Durango Street residence?
At that location, a Chevrolet Equinox, silver in color, had been discovered. That I was asked to photograph that, and then it was transported to Station 4-5s for processing. Additionally, I took custody of a Taurus 92F pistol that the defendant's wife had turned over to detectives, subsequently then turned over to me. And lastly, there was a black German Shepherd dog that they asked that I photograph at that residence as well.
Black German Shepherd, a big dog?
Yeah, it's a good-sized dog. It's young, but it's an impressive-looking dog.
The Taurus firearm, can you tell me what kind of a gun that is? Not brand, but caliber?
Yeah, it was a 9mm auto-loading pistol.
And that was provided to you by whom?
It had been turned over by Carol Dalton to Detective Sergeant Johnson, who had set it on a bench, and it was sitting on that bench, and I was directed to it. I photographed it and seized it there.
And you described a vehicle, a silver Equinox. Is that an SUV?
It is, yeah, crossover-style SUV.
Where was that at?
That was in the garage.
Were there any other vehicles in the garage?
I recall there was another vehicle in there. I think there was a Hummer in there as well.
The silver Equinox, did it have any damage to it?
There was. There was damage on the passenger side of the vehicle.
Where on the passenger side?
It was pretty extensively distributed among the passenger side. It started at the front bumper area, went across the front quarter panel, also then on the front passenger's side door, the rear passenger side door, the rear quarter panel, and the rear bumper cover. All had damage consistent with a side swipe type accident.
To your knowledge, had there been an incident subsequent to the 542 shooting at the Meadows involving a hit-and-run accident?
Shortly after the shooting was dispatched, a hit-and-run accident had been dispatched at the corner of Gull Road and G Avenue, where a silver-colored SUV had run a red light, sideswiped a vehicle at that location, and then fled the scene eastbound on G Avenue.
As part of your investigation, were you able to compare the evidence from your silver Equinox on Durango Street to that hit-and-run accident?
I did.
How did that comparison take place?
The vehicle that was hit stayed at the scene, and that was a red Chevrolet Impala. And that vehicle was also impounded. So I procured samples from the paint of the red Impala, as well as procured samples from the defendant's silver Equinox. And those were compared through microscopic methods, a number of different tests. Those articles were subjected to a battery of tests. And I did identify paint, silver paint on the red car and red paint on the defendant's Equinox. But probably more importantly, I saw blue paint on there as well. And when I went back to the red Impala and looked at it, the driver's side rear quarter panel had been replaced. And that had been replaced with an aftermarket part that was originally blue in color. So the red paint had been painted over that. During this accident, when the defendant's vehicle struck the vehicle, the red Impala, the red paint and the blue paint were transferred onto the Equinox. So to say that the paints were similar in every respect. The red paint from the Impala was identical to the red paint that I found on the Equinox, and vice versa. The silver paint that I found on the Impala was similar to the defendant's silver paint in every respect. That's not terribly unusual because there's thousands of cars driving around with identical paint. Because of the geospatial locations of the accident, meaning driver's side damage to the victim's vehicle, the Impala, and passenger side damage to the defendant's Equinox, the locations of them, in addition to those two different colored paints, the red and the blue paint, make it highly unlikely that any other vehicle was involved in this accident other than the defendant's Equinox.
And you've described it as the defendant's Equinox. Did you have an opportunity to examine the registration information for that silver Equinox?
I did. It was leased to Jason and Carol Dalton.
When you examined the silver Equinox registered to Jason and Carol Dalton, found in the garage at the Durango that belongs to Mr. Dalton's father-in-law, is that right? That residence?
Yeah, I believe it's his father's residence.
Father's residence? Excuse me. Did you find anything of any evidentiary value within the vehicle?
There were 5 shell casings inside the Equinox. Would probably be the most important. I seized a number of articles from that car, but probably the most important were 5 spent 9mm shell casings. Those were manufactured by the Winchester Company, so the head stamp on them said WIN 9mm Luger, and they were of a brass metal composition. 2 were on the driver's floorboard, 2 were behind the driver's seat, and 1 was located in the mat holder along the driver's side door.
When we talk about different types of firearms, are there firearms that automatically eject shell casings? Are there types of firearms that don't automatically eject shell casings?
Yeah. When we're talking about handguns, two basic types. A revolver has a revolving cylinder, and the shell casings stay inside that cylinder after the firearm is discharged. The other is a pistol, commonly referred to as an auto-loading pistol, and in that case, after the gun is discharged, the bullet or projectile goes out the barrel, and the shell casing is then automatically ejected from the firearm, and then through a course of a battery of operations, it's automatically reloaded and ready for the next shot.
You found 5 of these shell casings in the Silver Equinox.
Yes, I did.
Visually, they were all the same?
Yes.
And you described them as 9mm Winchester shell casings?
That's correct.
Were you involved, let me back up. Those 5 shell casings, were they seized by you and labeled as evidence?
Yes, they were.
And specifically, they were labeled under Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Department number KZ34424, is that right?
Yes.
Were you involved in seizing any of the shell casings from the scene at the Meadows?
Yes, I was.
How many shell casings did you find at the Meadows?
There were 10 shell casings that we saw at the Meadows. 9 of them were manufactured by the Winchester Company with a head stamp WIN 9mm Luger. And they also were a brass-colored metal alloy. The 10th shell casing that I observed at the Meadows was a nickel-colored shell casing manufactured by the Federal Company, and its head stamp was FC plus P plus 9mm.
Was that also a 9mm shell casing?
All 10 at the Meadows were 9mm.
And 9 of the 10 you indicated were Winchesters. Were they visually the same as the shell casings found in the Equinox?
Identical to those 5, yes, sir.
The shell casings that you found at the scene at the Meadows, were they found in a similar location or were they spread out?
They were spread out in linear fashion, pretty much from the south to the north. So in front of building 5111 apartment H, there was a Ford F-150 pickup truck that was also struck with gunfire at that location. Most of those 10 shell casings were found in the area immediately in front of that. Some had even rolled underneath the pickup truck. And then the rest were dispersed in line form as you travel from the south to the north.
You indicated that there was evidence that this Ford F-150, that's a pickup truck, is that right?
Yes, sir.
That this pickup truck had been struck by gunfire?
It had.
Was there evidence of any place else that had been struck by gunfire?
Oh, extensively, yeah. There were 7 bullet impacts to apartment H. 4 of those perforated an exterior service closet and then perforated an interior wall of apartment H before stopping inside of a closet. The other 3 that struck the exterior failed to penetrate. They only broke the vinyl siding, but failed to penetrate the OSB sheeting inside. There was also 2 ricochet marks on the door of the F-150 pickup truck and 4 ricochet marks on the sidewalk, and then at least 2 spalling marks or marks where the concrete curb had been broken up. Now, in addition to that, there was a number of linear marks or bullet tracks through the grass and dirt area immediately surrounding the area of that F-150 pickup and the sidewalk. Some of those are duplicates, meaning the ricochets from the concrete then traveled across the grass, leaving those marks before going up into and perforating that service closet of apartment H before finally coming to rest inside the apartment.
I'm curious. It went through the exterior wall, traveled across a room, and into a closet on the other side of the room?
Correct, yeah. It perforated an exterior wall, traveled through what was like a water access service closet, and then it again perforated another now interior wall and went into the apartment inside apartment H. And that was 4 of those bullets. All 4 of those bullets, incidentally, were recovered inside that closet.
The bullets that were recovered from this crime scene, were they consistent with a 9mm bullet?
Yes, they were.
Was Miss Carruthers still there when you were processing the crime scene?
She had been taken to the hospital prior to my arrival.
Where was there markers where she had been? Was it obvious where she was on the ground?
Yeah, there was bloody clothing that had been removed from her by medical first responders and by deputies prior to her being transported.
How far away were the shell casings that you found?
From the bloody clothing?
Yes.
Approximately 10 feet from the ones that would be directly in front of, 10 to 12 feet directly in front of the F-150 pickup. And then the others, as you travel south to north, heading towards the grassy area to the north where the playground is, that would be probably somewhere 30 to 40 feet away.
So the furthest was 30 to 40 feet away, and the closest, as you got closer to where Ms. Carruthers was on the ground, was within 10 feet?
About 10 to 12 feet, approximately, yes, sir.
Were you responsible for collecting any evidence from Ms. Carruthers' person?
I personally didn't. I did have bullet fragments turned over to me by medical personnel after her surgery. And there were two separate occasions. On one occasion, the bullet fragments were turned over to Deputy Briggs and then logged into evidence. On the second occasion, during her second surgery, the bullet fragments were turned over to me and then I logged those into evidence.
You said that in addition to the scene in Comstock, you had also responded to the scene at the Cracker Barrel?
I did briefly.
Were you responsible for processing that scene, or was that being done by someone else?
That was being done by the state police.
And you indicated that your partner, Mr. Neldon, Officer Forensic Neldon, he had responded to the Sealy scene?
He did.
And did you respond to the Sealy scene as well?
I never went to that scene, no.
After having processed the scene at the Meadows, were you also part of processing the scene where Mr. Dalton was arrested?
Yes.
All right. What was your role there?
Well, they were actually, I guess it would be divided into two. My task there, first, I was asked to respond to the headquarters where he was being interviewed. And at that location, I procured SEM gunshot residue stubs from his hands. And I also photographed him in the clothing that he was wearing at that time. And upon exiting that room, then some more evidence that had been removed from him had been turned over to me. And that specifically was a ballistic vest that was given to me by Lieutenant Ostrander.
Let me back up just a minute. You talked about SEM strips. What's an SEM strip?
SEM stands for scanning electron microscopy, and basically these are small stubs that have an adhesive material on them, and you would apply them to a subject's hands who you believe may have been in close proximity to gunfire or the discharge of a firearm, and that would then capture small elemental pieces. Specifically, they're looking for barium, lead, and antimony fused together as spherical particles, and that's what we recognize as gunshot residue.
So you were part of that testing process?
Correct.
With Mr. Dalton, and that you took these adhesive strips, these SEM strips then, and applied them to Mr. Dalton?
Correct.
And then they were subsequently placed into evidence?
Yes.
You also photographed Mr. Dalton in the clothes he was wearing. Can you describe for us what he was wearing that night, if you recall?
Yeah, he had a pair of blue jeans and a black sweater with kind of a high collar on it.
And you said you were given a piece of evidence from Lieutenant Ostrander. Is that David Ostrander of the Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety?
Yes, sir.
What did Lieutenant Ostrander provide you with?
He gave me a ballistic vest, which is to say a bulletproof vest similar to what law enforcement personnel would wear. He indicated that that had been removed from Mr. Dalton's. I have no response.
Lieutenant Ostrander provided you with a vest. I'm not interested in what he told you about where he got it. He provided you with a ballistic vest. Did he provide you with any other items of evidence?
Not from memory.
Do you know whether or not you received a knife?
I seized the knife from the vehicle. It was after I had received the ballistic vest. I was asked to respond out to the location on Ransom Street where the vehicle was stopped. And at that location, I seized several articles. Members of the Department of Public Safety had still been setting a perimeter around that vehicle, and I made contact with PSO Brooks, who took me to the vehicle, and it was at that location that I seized one folding knife, a Boker-style folding knife, a couple of JCPenney receipts, but most specifically was a Walther P99 9mm auto-loading pistol.
What type of vehicle was it that you processed there at the scene?
It was a 2007 Chevrolet HHR. It was black in color.
Do you know who that vehicle was registered to?
I believe that was registered to Terry Dalton and Jeannie Dalton. I believe those are the defendant's parents.
You indicated that within that vehicle you found a knife. Where was that found?
All of those articles had been placed on top of the roof of the vehicle by the time I got there.
And so your job was to secure those items, examine them, place them into evidence.
Yeah, I photographed them where they were and then took them back to my vehicle where the pistol was rendered safe, meaning to say that I unloaded it because it was fully loaded. And then those articles were then transported back to the lab before they were eventually packaged and submitted to the evidence room.
You indicated that one of the items that you then seized and submitted as evidence was a 9mm Walther P99?
Yes, sir.
Tell me what kind of firearm that is.
That's an auto-loading pistol. As we had previously described with auto-loading pistols, there's a magazine with a source of ammunition that's loaded into the magazine well, and that then after the firearm is charged and a cartridge is loaded into the chamber, every time the trigger is pulled, a projectile or a bullet will go out through the barrel, and then the shell casing will be extracted and ejected from the firearm before an auto-loading process then completes with a new cartridge being seated in the chamber ready for the next pull of the trigger. It'll fire again.
The 9mm Walther, was that then seized, placed into evidence, and then submitted to the Michigan State Police Laboratory as Kalamazoo County Sheriff's Department package number 3?
Yes.
If you recall, is that item serial, or is the serial number of that weapon 016443?
That sounds right, but I know the serial number's in my report.
I don't have any other questions at this time, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we have the next witness we'll be calling is Alexis Cornish, but wanted to give the court or Mr. Solis an opportunity if they needed to touch base with the defendant. We've been through some witnesses now. I don't know if there's any desire to have contact. I'm happy to go forward, but also happy to take a break and allow that to happen.
Mr. Solis, you're
well. It just struck me that if I do converse with my client, that the deputies are not going to leave him alone. That's an issue. But honestly, based on the evidence that I've had before me so far, I don't think it's necessary at this point. If I feel a need to, I will ask the court to allow me.
Thank you, Mr. Solis. Okay. Present your next witness.
Thank you. It's Alexis Cornish, Your Honor.
You're going to go right up there to this chair over there.
You solemnly swear affirm testimony you're about to give me the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Very good. Please have a seat. Make sure you get close enough to speak into the microphone there. And if you would state your name and spell it for the record, please.
Alexis Cornish, ALEXISCORNISH.
Mr. Williams, your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We talked about this before, but I'll remind you, just make sure you speak up and project your voice as best you can so we can make a record. Alexis, how old are you?
17.
You work? Go to school?
School.
Okay. What year are you in school?
Junior.
Do you live in the Kalamazoo area?
A little bit.
General area.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And how long have you lived in Kalamazoo?
My whole life.
Okay. You remember February of this year?
Yes.
Do you know who Tyler Smith is?
Yes.
How'd you know Tyler Smith?
He was my boyfriend.
How long have you guys been dating?
9 months.
9 months as of February?
Yes.
Just want to be clear about the times. Do you know Richard Smith?
Yes.
How do you know him?
He's the dad of Tyler.
Okay. And you known him about the same amount of time that you've known Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you with Tyler on the 20th of February of this year?
I was.
Were you with his dad also?
Yes.
What were you doing that day?
Car shopping.
Did you spend the whole day car shopping?
Second half of the day.
Okay, what time did you guys start looking at cars?
About noon.
And did that carry on and off through into the evening hours?
Yes.
Did you go look at cars at more than one dealership?
Yes.
What I'm going to ask you about now is a specific dealership. Did you go to Sealy Motors on Stadium Drive?
We did.
Is that in Kalamazoo County in the state of Michigan, as far as you know?
Yes.
What time did you guys get to the Sealy lot?
8, 9.
Okay. Was it dark out then?
Yes.
How was the lighting in Sealy's lot that night?
Pretty bright.
Okay. You could see everything that was going on, okay?
Yes.
How'd you get to the Sealy lot?
Tyler drove.
Okay.
There.
Whose car did he drive?
His Range Rover.
Okay. You said his dad was with you, right?
Yes.
Where was his dad sitting?
In the passenger seat.
And where were you?
In the back.
What happened when you guys first pulled into Sealy?
Tyler and his dad got out of the car to look at a blue truck.
Okay. Did you get out and look at the truck?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't know anything about trucks and it was cold outside and I was tired.
So did you stay in the back seat of the car?
Yes.
What'd you do while you were in the back seat?
Watch them look at the truck.
Was the car running?
Yes.
And you could see them, and from what you saw, they could see the car. Okay.
Yes.
All right. At some point, while they were looking at the car, did you see another car enter the Sealy lot?
I did.
What did it look like to you?
Black and like the long version of a PT Cruiser.
Okay. Your Honor, can I approach the witness?
You may.
Your Honor, I'm going to hand Ms. Cornish what I have marked for identification at this point as People's Exhibit number 7.
Number 7.
Your Honor, I'll say for the record, too, that's one of the issues. What I've handed her is a still photo that was extracted from the Sealy surveillance video, which was a part of the stipulation as to foundation. Do you recognize that photograph?
I do.
What's happening in that photograph?
The car is pulling into the Sealy
Motors? Mm-hmm. Can you just maybe hold that up and show the judge where the car is that you are in?
The gray one facing the truck.
And where is the car that passed you?
Right beside it.
And that's the car that you described before?
Yes.
Is that an accurate depiction of how things looked to you when that car passed you?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask for the admission of that exhibit, please.
An objection, voir dire?
No, Judge.
Very good. Admitted as People's Exhibit number 7.
Did you see where that car went after it went past you?
I didn't. I thought it went out of Sealy.
Okay. But you don't know, it went past and that was the last you thought of it?
Yes.
Which way was the car you were in facing where Richard and Tyler were looking at the truck?
Can you explain?
Yeah, sure. Let me ask that in a better way. Could you see Richard and Tyler when you were in the back seat?
Yes.
Where did you have to look to see them?
Straight in front.
Okay, so they were
Forward.
right in front of the car. Were the headlights on in the car at that time?
Yes.
Okay. Did you see someone else come into your frame of vision while you were in the back seat?
I did.
What'd that person look like?
He was like not too tall, not too short, and he was a little bit bigger and had gray hair.
Bigger,
and
like
glasses.
taller or heavy?
Heavy.
Okay.
And he had gray hair and glasses.
Could you see what he was wearing?
He was wearing a black coat and all black from what I saw.
What direction, again, if you're sitting in the back seat looking forward at the blue truck, what direction did he come from?
He came from behind the Range Rover.
And you put your hand up, so to your left, you'd soak to your left,
Yeah.
so like some back into your left, he passed you?
Yeah.
What did he do when he walked past you?
He walked up to Tyler and his dad and asked them what they were looking at.
Did you hear him say that?
Yes.
Did Tyler and his dad respond?
They turned around and went to tell them that they were looking at the blue truck, but they didn't get the chance to tell them.
So you never heard Tyler or Richard respond?
Well, they did. They turned around and were like, yeah, we're looking at blah, blah, blah. And that's all the words that they got out at that time.
Why weren't they able to say any more?
Because he pulled out the gun and started shooting.
When you say he, you mean the person that you saw come back from your back left and that you described earlier?
Yes.
Where did he pull the gun from?
I think his sleeve or his pocket.
Okay. Could you see the gun?
Yes.
Did you see him fire the gun?
Yes.
Did you see Richard and Tyler when the person you saw fired the gun?
Yes.
What did Richard and Tyler do?
They looked at him and they put their hands up and they said, what are you doing? And they fell down. And that's when I ducked behind the seat so he couldn't look at me.
When you ducked behind the seat, could you still see what was happening, or was that your extent of seeing what was going on there?
That's what I saw. That's the last thing I saw at that moment.
Do you have any idea how many shots that person fired?
Enough not to miss.
Yeah. Do you have any idea a number?
No.
More than a couple?
Yeah.
After you ducked down, what's the next thing that you saw?
I sort of lifted my head up to see out the front of the car, and he went to look at the black vehicle that was by the blue truck.
When you say he, you mean the person that fired the gun?
Yes.
Okay.
And he went to try and open the door to that vehicle, and it was locked because it wasn't the right car.
You mean was it another car that was offered for sale there?
Yeah.
Okay. What did that person do next?
He turned around and walked away, back from the direction that he came from.
So did he walk again past the driver's side of the car you were in?
Yes.
Did he ever stop and look in your car?
No.
Did you get a look at him as he was walking back past you?
Not a very good look.
Okay. Did you see where he went after he left your field of vision?
I didn't.
Doesn't make sense. Did you see where he went while you were watching him?
No.
What did you do after you lost sight of that person?
I sat up in my seat and looked around the car to see if he was around, and...
Did you see anyone when you looked around?
No.
Did you see any other cars?
No.
Okay. How long do you think you wait before you sat up? Do you have any idea?
A couple minutes.
Okay. What'd you do next?
I got out of the car and looked around to see if I could see any shadows or anything, and then I went and grabbed Tyler's phone out of his pocket and called 911.
Okay. Did you see Tyler and Richard when you went to grab the phone?
Yes.
Were they moving at all?
No.
You grabbed the phone. Did you make the call right there, or did you go somewhere else?
I went back in the car.
Okay. Did you call 911?
Yes.
Did you tell them what happened?
Yes.
And eventually, did the police show up to the scene?
Yeah.
When you, I want to go back to when you said you saw the that person pulling the trigger of the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Could you see anything coming out of the gun while the person was firing?
Yeah.
What'd you see?
I saw little gold bullets come out.
Okay. Were they just kind of spilling out of the gun? I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Solis.
Ms. Cornish, I just have a couple questions for you. So when you saw this individual shooting, did he have his back towards you?
He was side view.
Side view?
Mm-hmm.
And you had indicated that after this happened, he had tried to open a vehicle?
He tried to open a vehicle in front of us. So one of the one that was for sale.
Okay. And how long did he stand at that vehicle when he was doing that?
A few seconds.
This individual, what else did he do? Was he looking around or?
He did for a minute, and then he left.
So you say for a minute, was it actually a minute or two or just a few seconds?
Estimate. I was just estimating.
Okay.
I don't know exact time.
But it was for a little bit that caused you to pause and stay in the car?
Yeah.
And all this happened before you dug down under the seat?
Yes.
I have nothing else.
Nothing additional, Your Honor?
This witness be excused.
No objection.
Thank you. We can leave that. Call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. People call Technician Todd Nelson.
Solemnly swear affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do, sir.
Very good. Please have a seat. State your name and spell it for the record.
Todd Neldon, Todneldon.
Where is your witness?
Sir, what do you do?
I'm employed by the City of Kalamazoo Department of Public Safety.
How long you been doing that?
20 years.
What's your specific assignment?
I'm assigned to the Criminal Investigation Division, the Crime Lab.
Okay, how long you been doing that?
10 years.
Do you have any specialized training as a crime lab employee?
I do.
What kind of things are you training in?
Crime scene investigation, accident investigation, photography, evidence collection, evidence examination, etc.
Were you working in that capacity on February 20th of this year?
I was.
How were you involved in the case that brings us here today?
I was called on my way to work at around 6 o'clock from Lieutenant Meisner asking if I could, when I responded to work, if I could respond to 5111 High Meadow at the request of the Sheriff's Office, reference to a shooting investigation.
And just, I'll skip ahead a little and then I'll get more specific. You actually visited a number of different scenes in the course of investigating this case, correct?
Yes, I did.
Can you just list for us what scenes you were present at, and then we'll speak about each of them more
Certainly. I responded to 5111 High Meadow, 4102 Stadium Drive, Sealy, Kia, and I also responded to Douglas Avenue, the residence of Mr. Dalton.
Okay. Let's start chronologically. You mentioned that you responded to the Meadows area. What did you do there?
I responded there. I actually took crime scene photographs, documented locations of evidence found, and collected those particular items that I located.
Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. We've also, did you work with Lieutenant Dunlop at the High Meadows scene?
Be Sergeant Dunlop?
Sergeant Dunlop, thank you. Did you work with him there?
I did.
And since he's already testified, I won't want to duplicate his testimony, but did you locate some shell casings there at High Meadows Drive?
I did.
And how would you describe those shell casings?
They were all in a tight-knit group, or an area there, right out in front of apartment H, which is on the north end of 5111 High Meadow.
And did you photograph those?
I did.
Did you package them and label them as evidence?
I did.
What did you do with them after that?
After those were packaged, they were placed in our laboratory and turned over to Sergeant Dunlop.
And eventually, if you know, were they eventually submitted for further processing?
I believe so, yes.
And now we chatted before this, and this hopefully will help indicate the court. You're familiar with Jeff Crump of the Michigan State Police, right?
Yes, I am.
And we took a look at his the report that he prepared in this matter, right?
Yes.
And we looked it over, and the casings that you found that you described were submitted to him and have been described in his report as items 15 and 15A through I. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to the next scene, you said you responded to Sealy Motors, correct?
That is correct.
What was your role there?
I also took crime scene photographs there, as well as documented and collected evidence at that location as well.
What evidence did you collect at that location?
Located bullets and casings at that location.
How many casings did you find there?
16.
Where were they arranged?
The location of our two victims, there was an SUV that the victims had come in. They were around the north side of that vehicle and around to the front of that vehicle and near the victims.
I say, when you say north side, would that be driver's side or passenger side?
It would be the driver's side of that vehicle, as the vehicle was facing easterly.
And where were were all the casings in one tight grouping, or were they moved in different places around?
They were in a pretty close area in proximity to the vehicle and the victims.
And did you photograph those and package them as evidence?
Yes, I did.
You also mentioned that you found 2 fragments, correct?
It'd be 1 fragment at that location and 1 bullet at that location.
Thank you for the correction. Where did you locate those?
The bullet was located on the driver's side of the vehicle on the parking lot, and the fragment was located on the passenger side of that vehicle.
Were you able to determine anything about them by looking at those?
I did not.
How about the shell casings? Were you able to determine anything looking at those?
Yes, I did.
What did you determine from examining those?
They were a 9mm casing, and all of them were Winchester.
Now, again, as I asked you before, are you aware that this evidence that you see eventually was forwarded on to Jeff Crump for analysis?
Yes.
And again, kind of like before, we looked at the report, matched up the evidence numbers, and are these reflected in Jeff Crump's reports as numbers 21 through 28 and 30 through 39?
I'd have to look at that.
Can I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
There's year numbers and then corresponding year numbers here to his numbers there, so take this.
Yes, it appears from this report that those are indeed the particular items that I had processed.
Were you able to identify did you see victims on the scene at Sealy Motors?
I did.
Were you able to identify them?
We were later I able to identify them, yes.
And what were their names?
It was Tyler, I know the first name is
Smith.
Tyler Smith, and I cannot remember his father's name, but
Richard Smith?
Richard Smith, yes.
Any other evidence that you took from the scene at Sealy?
Yes, I did.
What was that?
We later found out by looking at the surveillance video that the person or the suspect in this incident actually, after shooting the victims, walked to the east and actually appeared to have touched the black BMW that was parked just east of the blue truck that Mr. Smith and Tyler Smith were looking at. And so I took 2 DNA swabs, one from the driver's door handle, front door handle, and the driver's rear door handle, as
the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jason Brian Dalton, case number 2016-0287-FC. Please state your appearances for the record.
Good morning, Your Honor. Jeff Getting, prosecuting attorney. I'm here on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan.
Your Honor, Jeff Williams, assistant prosecuting attorney on behalf of the people also.
Service Solis on behalf of Mr. Dalton, Your Honor.
Good morning, gentlemen. This is a time and place set for the trial of the people versus Jason Dalton. Court has been informed that there has been a resolution in this matter. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, Your Honor. We would ask the court to place it on the record here today.
Yes, Judge.
That case, Mr. Williams, if you could state what the agreement is at this time.
Your Honor, there is no sentencing agreement in that Mr. Dalton will be pleading to all counts against him. Those due, as the court knows, comes with a mandatory sentence. However, I believe there's some things Mr. Solis might want to say about the reasons.
Okay. Mr. Solis.
Judge, first of all, as a housekeeping matter, at this today I will be withdrawing, because I had not officially done so, withdrawing my motions for insanity. The reason for that is that the independent forensic examination that I had done does not meet the legal requirements of insanity, Judge. So I'd like to officially
withdraw.
Withdraw that.
Mr. Williams, the prosecution have a position on that?
We have no objection, Your Honor.
Court will accept on the date of the trial a withdrawal of that defense position as originally noticed by the defendant. Mr. Solis.
Well, Judge, today I want the record to reflect that discussions of plea offers have been going on between my client and I for months since this case has been pending, and I spent an hour and a half with my client, Mr. Dalton, this past weekend. And I've discussed the pros and cons of any potential plea, especially as charged. That's what's being done today. He understands those consequences. He is doing that against my advice. But in speaking to Mr. Dalton, there are reasons for that. There are personal reasons to him. He does not want to put his family through that or the victims' families through the trial. So it's his decision against my advice, but I obviously will have to do that.
Thank you. Under those circumstances, Mr. Williams, what is the agreement?
Your Honor, Mr. Dalton will be pleading guilty to all counts. In counts 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11, he will be entering a plea to first-degree premeditated murder. In counts 13 and 15, he will be entering a guilty plea to the count as charged, assault with intent to murder, and he will also be entering a guilty plea to the associated felony firearm charges, which make up the even number counts in the felony information.
Mr. Solis, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
We call it a plea agreement, but that's my understanding, Judge, of what's been offered.
Okay. Prosecution has offered that, and it would appear that the defendant has agreed without any agreement as to sentencing, which is either subject to statute or to the court. Mr. Dalton, if you would stand. First of all, is that your understanding of the plea agreement? Okay.
Yes, it is.
If you would come forward, hopefully there's a microphone here. I would ask that he be sworn.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. For the record, your full name is Jason Dalton.
Correct.
Mr. Dalton court has been advised of your intent to enter guilty pleas as to the various counts of this information. You should be advised that if you do enter such a plea, you will be waiving or giving up certain legal rights. You understand that?
Yes.
I'm looking for the advice of rights. Okay. I'm going to show you a document entitled Advice of Rights. Have you seen this before?
Yeah, I've read that earlier today.
Is that your signature at the bottom of the page?
Yes, both of them are.
You understand that if you enter a guilty plea, you will be waiving or giving up many of these rights because we won't be going to trial.
Yes, that's what Mr. Sluice explained to me.
Okay. You also understand that you're going to modify certain rights that you would have to an appeal. If you had gone through the trial, were found guilty, sentenced, and you didn't like the sentence, you'd have the right to file an appeal with the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals in that situation is required to review the record. The preliminary matters, everything leading up to the trial itself, to see if there are any errors committed either by myself or by the attorneys that would justify setting aside that particular conviction. The Court of Appeals doesn't necessarily have to find anything. Most of the times they don't. But they do at least have to look if you file an appeal in that circumstance. That's called an appeal of right. On the other hand, if you enter a guilty plea and for some reason don't like the sentence, you still have the right to file an appeal. But in that situation, the Court of Appeals would have the option of looking into the matter or not. It would be their choice. That's called an appeal by leave. You understand the difference in the two situations?
Yes, I do.
Has anyone threatened you to get you to enter a plea today?
No.
Besides what's been put forth on the record, has anyone promised you anything to get you to enter a plea?
No.
Okay. You're doing this voluntarily of your own free will.
Yes, I've wanted this for quite a while.
You understand that if you change your mind or say that you didn't want to enter a plea, the testimony you're giving right now can be used to support the fact that the plea is voluntary at this time. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Are counsel aware of any threats or inducements to the defendant to have him tender a plea at this time?
No, sir.
No, Your Honor.
I'm aware of none, Judge.
Okay. So, get this pulled up. Allegations of the information are that on or about February 20 of 2016 in the county of Kalamazoo, both the township of Texas and county of Kalamazoo, as well as the city of Kalamazoo and the township of Richland, that you engaged in the following activity. As to count one, that you did murder Mary Lou Nye, contrary to Michigan law, which would be, in essence, subject to murder, which is a felony that's punishable by life in prison. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Count two, on that date, you did carry or have in your possession a firearm, to wit, a pistol, at the time you committed the offense of open murder related to Mary Nye. That's a felony punishable by 2 years in prison consecutive to any term of imprisonment. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count three, that again on that date in Kalamazoo County, that you did in fact murder one Mary Jo Nye, contrary to Michigan law. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Count four. Again, on that same date in Kalamazoo County, did you carry or have in your possession a firearm, to wit, a pistol, at the time you committed the offense of open murder with regard to Mary Jo Nye? That's a felony punishable by 2 years in prison consecutive to any sentence that might be imposed for the murder of Mary Jo Nye. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Count five, Again, on that same date in Kalamazoo County, did you in fact commit a murder of one Barbara Hawthorne, contrary to Michigan law, a felony punishable by up to life in prison? Punishable by life in prison. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count 6, did you, again, at that date in Kalamazoo County, carry or have in your possession a firearm, to wit, a pistol, when you committed or attempted to commit the felony crime of open murder with regard to Barbara Hawthorne? That's a felony punishable by 2 years in prison consecutive to any other preceding term of imprisonment. As to that count, how do you count?
Guilty.
Count 7, on that date in Kalamazoo County, did you in fact commit a murder of one Dorothy Brown, contrary to Michigan law? That is a felony punishable by life in prison. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Count 8, did you on that day in Kalamazoo County carry or have in your possession a firearm, specifically a pistol, at the time you committed or attempted to commit the felony of murder with regard to I think I skipped one. I did with regard to Barbara Hawthorne, but I did not. As to count 7, did you in fact commit the offense of open murder with regard to Dorothy Brown, a felony punishable by life in prison? As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty to that one too.
Okay. Then as to count 8, did you have on that date and date, did you carry or have in your possession a pistol at the time you committed the offense of murder with regard to Dorothy Brown, that being felony punishable by 2 years in prison consecutive to any other sentence that might be imposed? As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count 9, did you in fact on that date, in the same date in the county of Kalamazoo, did you in fact commit the offense of murder upon Richard Smith, contrary to Michigan law? That would be a felony punishable by life in prison. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count 10, did you on that day and date in Kalamazoo County carry or have in your possession a firearm, to wit, a pistol, at the time you committed the offense of open murder with regard to Richard Smith? That's a felony punishable by up to 2 years in prison, by 2 years in prison consecutive to any other term that's imposed. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Count 11 is that on or about that date, February 20, 2016, in the county of Kalamazoo, did you in fact murder Tyler Smith, the felony punishable by life in prison, with obviously the associated DNA testing that would be associated? As to that count, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count 12, again on that day and date in the county of Kalamazoo, did you in fact carry or have in your possession a firearm, to wit, a pistol, at the time you committed the offense of open murder with regard to Tyler Smith? That would be a felony punishable by 2 years in prison subsequent to any other sentence that was imposed. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count 13, on that day and date in the county of Kalamazoo, did you make an assault upon A.K., a minor child, with the intent to commit the crime of murder, contrary to Michigan law? That is a felony that's punishable by up to life in prison or a number of years. Is consecutive to any sentence that might be imposed basically life or any number of years, along with DNA testing that would be involved with that. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
As to count 14, did you, on that day and date in the county of Kalamazoo, have or carry a weapon in your possession, to wit, a pistol, when you committed the offense of attempted to commit the offense of assault with intent to murder, contrary to Michigan law, that being a felony punishable by 2 years in prison subsequent to any other term of imprisonment that might be imposed? As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
15, on that same day and date in Kalamazoo County, did you, in fact, make an assault upon Tierra Carruthers with the intent to commit the crime of murder contrary to Michigan law? That would be a felony punishable by life or any number of years up to life. Michigan law. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
18, as to on that same day and date in Kalamazoo County, did you carry or have in your possession a firearm, to wit, a pistol, at the time you committed or attempted to commit the felony of assault with intent to murder, and you did this contrary to Michigan law? That being a felony punishable by 2 years imprisonment consecutive to and preceding any other imprisonment that might be imposed based upon the assault with intent to commit murder. As to that charge, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay. The court has indicated for purposes of confirmation of the underlying facts supporting the guilty plea, I've agreed that Mr. Williams can, in fact, go through each count and the questions associated with them.
Your Honor, before I do so, I'd ask the court to make one clarification for the record and to make sure we confirm Mr. Dalton's understanding. With regard to the murder counts, the court stated correctly that the maximum sentence is life in prison. I would ask the court confirm not only is it life in prison, it is life in prison without the possibility of parole, and also that that's not only the maximum sentence, that's a sentence mandated under Michigan law.
Court will advise Mr. Dalton, you understand that a conviction of murder carries the statutory, it's not discretion on the part of the court, statutory punishment of life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. You understand that?
Yes.
Are you satisfied then with regard to at least the statement of Mr. Dalton with regard to pleading guilty to each of the counts?
I am. Thank you, Your Honor, and I'm ready to proceed with the
Mr. Dalton, the rules require that not only do we accept what pleas that you enter, but also that there be a factual basis on the record that would support the entry of the plea. That is the questions that Mr. Williams is going to ask you now. So, okay? Mr. Williams.
Mr. Dalton, on February 20th of 2016, were you in the county of Kalamazoo in the state of Michigan?
Yes.
With regard to count one, while you were in Texas Township, did you cause the death of Mary Lou Nye by shooting her with a firearm?
Yes.
Did you intend to kill Mary Lou Nye?
Yes.
Was your intent to kill Mary Lou Nye premeditated, meaning that you thought about it beforehand?
Yes.
And was the killing of Mary Lou Nye deliberate in that you had time to consider the pros and cons of the killing and that you chose your actions before you committed them?
Yes.
With regard to count three, while in Texas Township on February 20th of 2016, did you cause the death of Mary Jo Nye by shooting her with a firearm?
Yes.
Did you intend to kill Mary Jo Nye?
Yes.
Was your intent to kill Mary Jo Nye premeditated, meaning that you thought about it beforehand?
Yes.
Was the killing of Mary Jo Nye deliberate in that you had time to consider the pros and cons of the killing and that you chose your actions before you committed them?
Yes.
On to count five. While in Texas Township on the 20th of February 2016, did you cause the death of Barbara Hawthorne by shooting her with a firearm?
Yes.
Did you intend to kill Barbara Hawthorne?
Yes.
Was your intent to kill Barbara Hawthorne premeditated, meaning that you thought about it beforehand?
Yes.
Was the killing of Barbara Hawthorne deliberate in that you had time to consider the pros and cons of the killing and that you chose your actions before you committed them?
Yes.
With regard to count seven, on February 20th of 2016, while in Texas Township, did you cause the death of Dorothy Brown by shooting her with a firearm?
Yes.
Did you intend to kill Dorothy Brown?
Yes.
Was your intent to kill Dorothy Brown premeditated, meaning that you thought about it beforehand?
Yes.
Was the killing deliberate in that you had time to consider the pros and cons of the killing and that you chose your actions before you committed them?
Yes.
Count nine. While in the city of Kalamazoo on February 20th of 2016, did you cause the death of Richard Smith by shooting him with a firearm?
Yes.
Did you intend to kill Richard Smith?
Yes.
Was your intent to kill Richard Smith premeditated, meaning that you thought about it beforehand?
Yes.
Was the killing of Richard Smith deliberate in that you had time to consider the pros and cons of the killing and that you chose your actions before you committed them?
Yes.
With regard to count 11, on February 20th of 2016 in the city of Kalamazoo, did you cause the death of Tyler Smith by shooting him with a firearm?
Yes.
Did you intend to kill Tyler Smith?
Yes.
Was your intent to kill Tyler Smith premeditated, meaning you thought about it beforehand?
Yes.
Was this killing deliberate in that you had time to consider the pros and cons of the killing and that you chose your actions before you committed them?
Yes.
With regard to count 13, while in Texas Township, did you try to and in fact physically injure A.K., a minor child, by shooting her with a firearm?
Yes.
Did you have the ability to shoot her at that time? Did you have a loaded firearm and were able to shoot someone at the time that happened?
Yes.
By shooting Abigail Croft multiple times, was your intent to kill her?
Yes.
While in Richland Township, did you try to and in fact physically injure Tiana Carruthers by shooting her with a firearm?
Yes.
By shooting her with a firearm, did you demonstrate that that was an ability you had at the time?
Yes.
And by shooting Tiana Carruthers multiple times, was it your intent to kill her?
Yes.
Mr. Dalton, were all of the acts that you described, to your knowledge, felonies in the state of Michigan?
Yes, of course.
And were they all committed with a firearm?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have no further questions with regard to the factual basis.
Already satisfied that we have taken a plea that is freely, voluntarily, and understandingly given. Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Judge.
And that the court, by entrance of these pleas and the allocution, complied with Michigan Court Rule 6.302.
The court has.
You have, Your Honor.
Court has.
Court is satisfied that the pleas that have been entered are knowingly, understandingly, voluntarily given. There are factual basis to support the entry of each of the pleas. Therefore, the court will accept the pleas as to the 15 counts that are listed. We will set this then for a sentencing hearing on Tuesday, February 5, 2019. It'll be at 10 o'clock in the morning. We'll be in courtroom D. I have to say that for logistical reasons, courtroom D will be held in what is now courtroom A, but in this building. Again, at 10 o'clock. At this point, based upon
All rise. Kalamazoo County Ninth Circuit Court is now in session. The Honorable Alexander C. Lipsy presiding. Please be seated. We're close the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Jason Brian Dalton. Case number 2016-0287 FC. Please state your appearances for the record.
Jeff Williams here on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan. Good morning, Your Honor.
May it please the court, Jeff Getting, prosecuting attorney. I'm here on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan.
W. Solis, defense counsel for Mr. Dalton, Your Honor.
Good morning, gentlemen. We are here on the sentencing of Jason Brian Dalton. Parties prepared to go forward with sentencing at this time.
People are ready, Your Honor.
Defense is ready, Judge.
Okay. The matter, court has received the pre-sentence investigative report. Scoring on that report would indicate scoring of a C6. Are there any corrections to that scoring?
I have no corrections, Your Honor. I think the MDOC has scored it correctly.
I have no corrections, Judge.
Mr. Solis, you've had a chance to review the pre-sentence report with your client.
Yes, Your Honor.
Any additions, corrections, or deletions to that document?
We have none.
People have any additions, corrections, or deletions to the pre-sentence report?
We have none, Your Honor, and I would also commend the MDOC for the report. Amy Hill, who authored the report, did a very thorough job and appreciate their attention to detail, but we have no corrections to that.
The court would echo that endorsement. I would note that this is a rather voluminous document in terms of the investigation necessary to put it together, and as I think everyone in the room is aware, last week, basically Kalamazoo was shut down for 3 days, and Department of Corrections was able to get this document generated even in the face of that weather-related interruption. So I would publicly like to thank MDOC for the extraordinary effort they did in order to be able to provide the court with the document necessary to go forward today. Okay. There being no additions, corrections, or deletions to the form of the document, what remains at this point is for allocution. This will allow people to go first.
Thank you, Your Honor. Obviously, as you can imagine, there's a number of victims who wish to, and victims' families who wish to make impact statements here today. With the court's permission, I have indicated that we will have them come in order of what number they were listed in the count, whether it's them or a family member, so we'll work through the counts with the court's permission.
Excellent.
If there's nothing else, I would ask the first person who wants to speak on behalf of the victim in count one, Mary Lou Nye.
I'm Christopher C. Nye, husband of Mary L. Nye and brother of Mary Jo Nye.
Welcome.
I've lost the woman I've married for 41 years, and I lost my little sister. The world has lost two women whose only goal in life was to take care of children. My wife worked in a daycare center and took care of little babies, nursed them, rocked them, whatever. And my sister was a teacher. She taught children who came from shaky backgrounds. Some of them had juvenile records. Some of them just came from bad families, situations. And she was their teacher and their mentor. The world has lost two teachers. Thank you.
My name is Bart Nye, son of Mary L. Nye. Mary L. Nye, mother of two, a woman whose happiest day was holding her grandson for the first time on his second day of life. A grandmother who found the perfect job for a grandmother, reading to children and rocking babies to sleep. She could never decide what title to take. She did not want to be called grandma. However, she never got to hear her autistic nonverbal grandson say her name. She is the sunlight, and the sun is gone.
Your Honor, as you've indicated from the victim impact statements, the victims in count 1 and 3 were related. So with those folks speaking on behalf of both Mary Lou Nye and Mary Jo Nye, I would next invite the family members of Barbara Hawthorne.
I'm Penny Hawthorne, sister-in-law of Barbara Hawthorne. Life itself is an unknown. Why was life created? Why are we born and why do we die? When will we die? We all hope to live a full, happy, long life until that chosen natural time of death. But you took that away from 6 very much loved and respected people. Why? Why did you play God and decide to do that? We won't ever know. The victim's family will never know. You might not ever know. You just decided to go with your guns, your weapons of choice, and shoot. You affected not only the lives of 8 people, you affected the lives of their families, their friends, their futures, their communities, and take it an even further, the world. You ended the life of a young man, ending the lifeline of his future generations of people who could have made this world a better place. Have you made this world a better place? No. For all of our families, you ended the lives of our loved ones, the chance to love them more, the chance for them to love us more, the chance to make more memories with them, the chance to pass on to future generations more stories about them and with them. You took that all away from us. Everyone's life has meaning, and you decided to one night play God and just wipe 6 people off this beautiful earth, all because you wanted to, because you decided to. Fair? I think not. No one does. The 6 beautiful people you brutally murdered led active, fulfilling lives. They had relationships. They were active in their communities. They played games. They volunteered. They were loved by their families, and they loved their families. They had futures. Their lives had meaning. They were contributing to this world. Now, unfortunately, you get to live on. Yes, you get to live on after taking 6 lives. Granted, it won't be much of a life, as you'll be behind bars and in a jail cell. Your life will have no meaning. You will not be contributing to this world, unlike the 6 lives you brutally took from this world. And now we, the families, the friends, the future families, the communities, the world, will have to find some way to live on, to find some way to cope with the loss of our loved ones. And you'll never get to see your children grow up outside of prison. You messed up your children's lives too. How horrible of you. They will grow up without a dad, if they still call you that, behind bars, knowing that a monster murdered 6 innocent people and injured 2 innocent people. You thought of no one but yourself. You didn't think of the 6 people you murdered, the 2 people you injured, their families, their friends, their communities, your children, and your family. You thought of no one but yourself. I grew up learning that one person's life can change the world. I always thought it meant for the good. As I got older, I also learned it can mean for the bad. Now it has touched me personally, and I know it can also mean for the worse.
I'm Cassandra Bear, and I'm the niece of Barbara Hawthorne. I would like to talk about my aunt, Barbara Hawthorne. There are many, many wonderful stories about Aunt Barbara, but today I would like to tell the court about her love and acceptance. Aunt Barbara did not have children of her own, but she loved her nieces and nephews and all our children fiercely. And each time I saw her, she let me know I was precious to her. She was not quiet about this love. As I met her friends after she died, they knew who I was and about my life from the stories Aunt Barbara had shared with them. She was especially good with teens and young adults. In my early years, I shared my deepest thoughts, hopes, and feelings with her. I found many letters from me in her house that detailed my joys and traumas, and with her, I felt free to explore ideas about religion and philosophy without fear of rejection or judgment. She truly wanted to know what I thought. This was so important in my transition to adulthood, and I'm sure I am not alone in having these conversations with her. Barbara made and kept many, many friends throughout her life, and she was actively in touch with friends from grade school, high school, and college. She had euchre friends and crochet friends, work friends, and massage friends, and she made friends wherever she went, including sitting next to someone at the casino or checking out at the health food store. She gathered friends into her circle and loved them, regardless of circumstance. She accepted them as they were, where they were. That night, when he shot and killed my aunt, he killed a person who would have listened to his story and welcomed him. Such was her love and acceptance. Instead, he took from her friends Barbara's love and peace. And he took from Julilla, Mary Kate, Ella, Will, Tessa, Silva, Fiat, and Marco the opportunity to explore and be heard and accepted as they transitioned into adulthood, their special Aunt Barbara time. And he took from me and from all of us our Aunt Barbara, who loved us unconditionally.
I'm Laura Hawthorne. I am Barbara's niece, Barbara Hawthorne's niece. On February 20th, 2016, the Hawthorne family's lives changed forever. Our lives were left shattered. The death of a loved one is a terrible thing to go through. But the death of a loved one that is killed on purpose for no logical reason is even worse. Even after the funerals, we were left feeling ill at ease with no peace because the monster that did this was claiming to be not guilty. That February night, he threw a pebble into a still lake, one of peace and calm. And the ripples of that pebble are still felt in every direction and far-reaching. The ripples that were felt on the surface and displaced everything that isn't visible. He may have taken 6 lives, but he destroyed countless others. Barbara Hawthorne was my much-beloved aunt. She wasn't just an aunt. She was my close confidant, my pillar of strength, a life guide, and she was the voice of reason in a crazy and unjust world. When I think of her, I think of love and peace and kindness, patience, generosity, fairness, a moral compass, perhaps a light in a sometimes dark and unkind world. She could make you feel like you were the only person in a room with 1,000 people, listening and hanging on your every word. She had a wisdom and an insight that I often sought, along with countless others. Until the end of her life, she strove to be the best version of herself. She had quirky elements about her, like her collecting pretty much anything. Her love of education was infectious. She donated books to my classroom and fostered a love of learning and a love of reading in me, my cousins, and their children. She loved to play games of strategy, cards, Scrabble, and she hated to lose. Her sense of humor was unique. Sarcasm, jokes, and giggling. She gave me the love of the family and love of tradition. Family tree research has helped us both see the past and how we were somehow part of a larger sense of the world. And her friends, my goodness, Barbara had friends everywhere. She belonged to so many groups. So many people continue to grieve for her today. And she shared those friends with me. And two of those beautiful souls, Judy and Mary Jo, were very, very dear people. And Abby, that beautiful child, a child, her life was just beginning. And so while that pebble may have settled, those ripples that I mentioned earlier, they are still moving and they are disrupting the peace. My family will never be the same. She left behind two grieving brothers, one of them my father. And her death has affected his health and general well-being. One of the saddest things I have had happen is hearing my father call me, and he can't even speak to me. The ripple goes on to me. I had a successful career in education, but felt that I had to quit because I wasn't able to be the best teacher for my students. For years, I told my students crazy Aunt Barbara stories. My own students suffered those last months that I was teaching as they grieved with me. Those ripples went on and on to the point where even my students became fearful to be outside for fear that they could meet up with a dark force that would be ready to kill them. You took away from me an aunt that I could laugh and I could cry with. She was the best cookie maker, the one I could dance in the kitchen with while we were making lunch together. And she was the best listener in the world. Of all the people that you had to kill that night, the great irony is that she was about peace and making life fair. She spent her young adult years working with undereducated adults and literacy programs. She marched for civil rights in the 60s. She was anti-war and pro-peace. Even more ironic is that she would have been the first one to forgive you or try to explain your bizarre behavior that night. You even took away my will to live for a while. I now fear the dark, open parking lots, and being alone. And for a long time, I wanted to know why. Why her? Why those ladies? Why the others? Why? Just why? And the truth of the matter is, there is no explanation that you can ever give, even if it is the honest-to-God truth. There is no explanation that would ever explain to me or to anyone else with any amount of satisfaction. I suspect that your whole life you were a nothing, a little man with little to offer the world. And having a weapon in your hand that night, gunning down innocent people, somehow made you feel big and powerful and strong. And now look at you. You are nothing but very ugly and dark. You have nothing to give this world. You are nothing. Every time your name comes up or your face is on TV, you are a constant reminder of all that is ugly and evil in this world. You no longer matter to me. I won't give you one more thought if I can help it after today. You are nothing but darkness, and I don't care what happens to you, except be locked away until the end of your very dark life. And those ripples that you created, they still continue. You have changed the course of many lives. And my family and I will go on missing and loving Barbara every single day.
My name is Nate Hawthorne, and I am the nephew of Barbara Hawthorne. Excuse me. When you try and talk about the sudden and traumatic loss of a loved one, there really are no words. Words are inadequate to describe what a person goes through. So we are left to try and explain something that, at its core, is unexplainable. So I will speak to the person that my aunt, Barbara Hawthorne, was, and how we as a family are proceeding in her absence. My gift to Aunt Barbara for Christmas in 2015 was to have a scheduled lunch date with her once a month. She did not have any kids of her own, as my sister and cousins said, so she treated her nieces and nephews, and even her great-nieces and nephews, as her own. As the nephew who lived closest to her, I wanted to nurture that connection. So I marked in my calendar the second Thursday of every month, lunch with Aunt Barbara. I knew the lunches would be important to her because of how much she treasured family. And in those times after, I heard many of her friends mention that she was so happy she got to spend those lunches with me. She was always the one trying to get us all together for the holidays. Family time was at the top of her list. She nurtured that bond with all of her nieces and nephews. And she nurtured that bond with her friends, just as she did family. That standing monthly appointment is still on my calendar every month. Unfortunately, I was unable to fulfill only two of those lunch dates. I was lucky to meet with her the Thursday before she was killed. One of the things she talked about was how much she loved the theater. She also loved to share that joy with her friends and family. She beamed when she talked about recently having gone to see The Sound of Music and guiltily admitted that she probably sang along with the production too often and too loudly. But that is the type of pure joy that she received from her outings. My children and myself had the opportunity to take many trips to Miller Auditorium and enjoy sharing that time with Aunt Barbara. All of that joy was brutally ended on that February night. For all of us that continue on, we have lost years and years of sharing her laughter, her joy, her music, and her hugs.
Your Honor, next we'll move on to the victim in count 7. That was Dorothy Brown. She was known to her friends as Judy, so I'll invite her back up.
I'm Jeff Reynolds, and I'm the son of Judy Brown. Words can't express the shock and the horror and the grief around what has happened. Nothing can prepare someone for the phone calls my brother and I received February 20th, 2016, notifying us that our dear mom, Judy Brown, enjoying a night out with 3 lady friends and a young girl, was among those randomly shot and killed the previous night. It's at first incredible until the reality sinks in that, yes, this is real. Usually we think stories like this happen to other people, and this time it had happened to us. My mom's death was a blow like no other, and it completely knocked the wind out of me, deflated me to the core. Nothing can prepare someone to instantly fly cross-country unexpectedly to secure their mom's house and make arrangements for her remains and other urgent matters. During the layover on that flight home to Michigan, seeing my mom's face and the story on CNN was shocking and surreal, and something I'll never forget. News of this horrible nightmare story haunted us on TV news every night, and none of us were prepared to be thrust into such local and national media attention. The senseless shootings of my mom and the others has devastated our family. I've worked long and hard through clinical counseling, spiritual counseling, a lot of soul searching, and a lot of self-care to come to grips with this and to be strong. But still, there is a brokenness and an emptiness that will never go away. Facing this loss has changed me as a person. I'm not the same person as I was before. It's one thing to lose a parent, but to lose any loved one under such atrocious circumstances isolates me into a different group and brings a lonely pain on top of the usual grief. My mom, Judy Brown, was one of the most generous, gentle, kind-hearted people one could imagine. So when I learned that someone had not just mistreated her, but ended her life in such a terrifying and gruesome way, for her to meet her ending moments in this way is unthinkable. This is the lady who gave me birth, taught me to walk and talk, provided for me, and cared for me as a kid. Being a mom was harder for her after my parents' divorce early on, but she worked extra hard to ensure that my brother and I were well taken care of. She has always had my highest respect and appreciation. Throughout my adult life, my mom and I enjoyed a very nice relationship. We always stayed in close touch. We shared decades of laughs and good memories. For me, a lifetime. She was my biggest fan and supporter, who I trusted greatly, and always knew that she would offer me a better perspective on whatever situation I was facing, great or small. And I enjoyed when sometimes she would honor me by seeking my perspective regarding some situation in her own life. My mom always gave 110% of herself in tireless service to others. She constantly went out of her way to make someone's world a little brighter. She never thought twice about extending a helping hand or a caring word to a friend, acquaintance, or even a stranger. She was a humble person, and she never boasted of herself. My mom always worked to unite people, both in her family and in the many communities she was part of. She was born and raised in Battle Creek and was admired and respected for decades by countless family, friends, and colleagues from all walks of life. Many people who knew Mom throughout her decades of living in Battle Creek each shared their unique story describing why they held her in such high regard. These countless stories add up to show the example of a person Judy Brown was, and the type of person this thing over here took away from us wrongly and too soon that night of February 20th, 2016. Those who knew her all say that she was the sweetest, most caring, gentle person one could meet. And so again, I say to know that she faced her end in this way is just unthinkable. We've waited nearly 3 years of difficult delays for this evil murderer to be brought to justice. Each delay of the trial has reopened the wounds for myself and all of the families. and it sometimes has felt like this will never end. As the criminal case now winds down, there's a mixture of feelings. I, and I'm sure the others too, will be relieved to have this phase behind us. We hear the word closure, but while there's closure to the court case and this chapter of the story, we will never see true closure. No amount of justice through the criminal justice system will bring my mom or our other loved ones back, nor heal the wounds of the two brave ones who survived. I and all of the individuals and families whose lives you have shattered are at least pleased to know that you will never walk free again. We will never have a day when we can walk free of the devastating loss that you've needlessly caused. I hope that your prison time gives you more than enough time to ponder the atrocious crimes you've committed on our mothers, husbands, children's, aunts, and friends. In fact, every time you think of a mother or a child or a family, I hope that you get to feel the collective pain and loss that you've inflicted on innocent others. I'm a man of faith, and I trust that the Almighty God will haunt you eternally, starting now, with the fact that you are nothing but a pile of worthless evil. Worthless. I hope the prison system and your prison mates serve as an endless reminder that you are nothing but worthless, despicable evil. You have taken from us those who are most dear and precious in our lives. You've created a hell for us, and I know that place has a special home for you. And may you forever rot there, beginning this moment. And may our loved ones, those who you took from us that horrific night, rest in peace and watch over us. And may we, families and victims, now look toward healing. Thank you, Your Honor, for this opportunity to share my sentiments with the court.
My name is Robert Reynolds. My mother was Judy Brown. My mom was also a grandmother, a future mother-in-law, a sister, a niece, a great aunt, an aunt, a cousin, a friend, a neighbor, a co-worker, a guardian. We will miss her very much. The pain we all felt upon learning of her death will always be with us. I stand here today to see justice served, not only for my mother, but for the many. I speak not just for myself, but for everyone who was affected when my mother and 5 others were senselessly murdered, and 2 others who were severely injured. My statement is for the record of the court, not to the guilty in this courtroom today. In my opinion, the guilty has no remorse, and there is no and never will be redemption for him. By the actions of the guilty, love and our time with our loved one was taken away from all of our lives, and that can never be replaced. The woman who gave birth to me is no longer here in my life. My mother's retirement was taken from her. She worked very hard all of her life up to the age of 72. She was enjoying her life as a retired she often said to me, She didn't know how she worked because she got so busy once she retired. She was active with her friends, her family, her church, social groups. My brother and I had to disassemble her entire life. It was gut-wrenching. Many of her closest friends and quite a few family members spent almost 2 weeks helping my brother and I pack up and empty her home. We sold her house. We sold her car. We kept some sentimental items, but basically gave away the rest of everything that she worked for and achieved and chose to keep in her life. I drive past her old house, and there is no evidence that she ever existed. Now she only lives in our hearts, pictures, and memories. Time was taken away through months and now years of grief. Love in time was taken away from my now wife and I, because I couldn't start a relationship after this while grieving and burying my mother, disassembling her life, seeking justice, learning how to live without her. My wife will never be able to know the love my mom had for me. My wife will never be able to get to know my mother. My mother will never get a chance to know and love my wife. My mom will never see me in a happy marriage, which was one of her greatest wishes for me. My wife grieves with me over this loss. Love and time were taken away from Mom's friends and family members. She was a loving and giving person and is deeply missed by many. Love and time was taken away between her brother, my Uncle Bob, and her. They were very close. They had happy hour or dinner together almost every day of the week. I like to believe she named me after him, but unfortunately now I won't be able to ask her. She retired in part because she felt she wasn't doing enough to help Uncle Bob with his everyday life responsibilities dealing with dementia. Time was taken away from my coworkers who had to work extra hours to cover my times when I was unable to work due to my grief and the many trips here to handle her estate and seek justice. The state of Michigan is my hand of justice. I will never get over what happened to my mother. I will spend every day the rest of my life missing her. I will rest a little easier knowing the guilty has his time as a free person taken away for the rest of his life. He is lucky he still exists on this earth. My mother doesn't. She never will again. Due to the guilty party's wanton disregard for life, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Your Honor, as the court knows from the pre-sentence investigation report, the victims of counts 9 and 11, Richard and Tyler Smith, were father and son, so they're family members.
Hi, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I'm Emily Lemmer. I am the sister of Tyler, and I am the daughter of Richard Smith. February 20, 2016 is a day that I will never forget. Early in the evening, my mom, dad, and I were all getting our taxes done. My dad and I arrived early before my mom, so we chatted about our day and life in general like we oftentimes did. My dad invited me to come with him and my brother to look at trucks later that night, so I decided I would go. When we finished filing our taxes, I was in a hurry to get home and finish up some things before I had to meet them. I had forgotten to give my dad a hug. I ended up falling asleep before we were supposed to go, and I didn't end up going with them. I woke up at 3 a.m. to the sound of my mom screaming outside my apartment. When I got up to see what was going on, I saw a sea of lights coming from the parking lot from all the first responders. When the detective sat my mom and I down and told us that my brother and my dad had been shot and killed, I couldn't feel a thing. I was emotionally numb, and I felt like time had stopped. The rest of the night was a blur of people coming to try and help in any way that they could. Several hours later, we got a call from the funeral home that my brother and my dad had been released to. We decided we needed to see them one last time to give them a hug, one last time to touch them, and one last time to pretend like this nightmare wasn't real. Walking into the funeral home where they lay was one of the scariest moments of my life. All I remember is thinking that they were going to wake up and that they were going to scare me. Seeing them laying there lifeless was absolutely heartbreaking. Hugging and holding my dad's cold body is a nightmare that will haunt me for the rest of my life. Kissing my brother's cold, pale forehead will never leave my mind. And even though I needed to see them in order to force myself to realize they were truly gone, it still causes me pain. Laying the ashes of my brother and my dad in the ground and seeing their names on the markers stuck on top is an indescribable feeling. Every day since I woke up to half my family being gone has been a living nightmare. Nothing feels right, and every day is a constant, painful struggle. The same cycle of waking up to the chilling reality that half my family is gone. In December of 2016, I got married. And the fairy tale I had dreamed about since I was a little girl was a heartbreaking day that we desperately tried to make happy. I walked down the aisle alone, holding a box with my brother and my dad's ashes in it. And a piece of my dad's shirt was sewn on my dress, and I placed a rose in a stand where my brother should have stood. I sat broken as the daddy-daughter dance played to the song that I planned to dance with my dad. Remembering back when I was 12 years old, and I played my dad the song, and he cried, saying how much he loved it. Nothing could have prepared me for the pain I feel when I look into my daughter's eyes, knowing that she will never get to know her grandpa or her uncle. Something that is supposed to bring me joy is also yet again clouded by the pain and the darkness that one sick person caused me. My heart breaks when I see my daughter point at the pictures of my brother and my dad. My brother and I had talked about how he would spoil my kids and how he would be the cool uncle that would give them sugar before returning them home, and I so wish that he could. My brother was someone who always had your back no matter what. He wanted people to get along and to have fun. He loved to laugh, and he loved to make people laugh. He was so animated, and he was a goofball, and he helped people whenever he could. He tried to be a friend to everyone that he met. His smile and his laugh were contagious. He loved to play soccer and to be active. He loved cars and ultimately anything that was fast and cool. He loved to dance and to sing to just about anything. Tyler was also younger than me. And every time I think about all the things he wanted to do and all the dreams he had, I am sick. He never got to graduate high school. He never got to turn 21. He never got to get married. But mostly, he never got the chance to live his whole life. He was just getting started. We were supposed to be there for each other, to always have each other's back. We were supposed to grow up together, and that will never happen. My dad was someone who would give you the shirt off his back. He always knew what to say and when to say it. He had a laugh that was contagious, and he could make you laugh even if you didn't want to. My dad was caring, loving, and always tried to help people. He was a hard worker and did anything that was needed to provide for his family. He supported my brother, mom, and I in everything that we did. My dad loves cars, trucks, and everything in between. He loved watching my brother and I play sports. He loved music and listening to people harmonize. He always helped my brother and I make projects for school because he was handy and he loved making things. My dad was my person, the one who I turned to in most situations. I was a daddy's girl to a T. He always knew how to talk to me and always said the right things. He supported me and loved me even when I didn't deserve it. He taught me how to change my oil, to drive a car, and so much more. But most of all, he taught me how to love and care for people. He taught me to do the best that I could at everything and to never give up. Living without my brother and my dad is impossible. Each day I wake up and know that it's going to take everything I have to get up and do the bare minimum that I have to do to survive and care for my daughter. The activities that used to bring me joy are painful and emotionally exhausting. I am constantly terrified and anxious about everything and anything. I am always afraid that something bad's going to happen or that I'm going to lose more people that I love. This wasn't supposed to happen this way, and I don't know why it had to. I can't understand how or why you could do this to all these innocent people. Were you mad? What were you thinking as you repeatedly shot and killed my family? What made you decide that I didn't need a brother or a dad? Why didn't you just walk away? What kind of a person walks up to a father and a son and shoots them over and over and over again until they don't move? A coward, that's who. Someone who is filled with sickness and evil. I would not want to be you, ever, but especially when you meet our Maker. I do know that God will be one person that will give you true justice. I hope you can realize a fraction of the pain you have caused and understand how many lives you have ruined because of what you have done. No matter what I say, my brother and my dad will never come back, but I pray every day that you truly take responsibility for what you've done. I will not let evil take over my life, and I will not let you win. I will carry on living each and every day, spreading the love and joy that my brother and my dad brought to this world. I will spend the rest of my days left on this earth living out their legacies and making them proud. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Lori Smith, and Richard was my husband, and Tyler was my son. My husband was my best friend, my soulmate, the love of my life. He was my person. On our wedding day, he surprised me and had a song called Forever's As Far As I'll Go played for me. To this day and beyond, I love him with every ounce of my being. Our love for each other is for eternity, and no one can or will ever change that. No matter what life threw our way, we were always there for each other. He was a loving, caring, thoughtful, and intelligent man who would do anything for anyone. He was a friend to everyone. Rich had a laugh that was contagious. He loved to make people laugh. He always knew just what to say and what not to say and when. He made me laugh. He held me when I cried. He told me everything would be okay when times were tough. And he was always there, no matter what. We started out remodeling houses together. Then we got married and had children. I always counted on him and him on me. We were a team, as soulmates, as parents, and as friends. Our kids were our world, and Rich was an awesome father. His kids and I came first. Everyone who knew him knew that. Whatever the kids had going on, we were there. And when schedules overlapped, he went to one kid's event and I went to the other. Family and friends often came to us when they had a problem or needed help, and he and I would team up and took care of whatever needed to be done together. One of the things we loved to do is to go up to Silver Lake, Michigan as a family, with my extended family too, and play on the sand dunes and around camp. Rich had grown up around ATVs, dune buggies, and off-roading, and loved to share his passion. Rich and I had plans for the future. We were going to go places, discover things, continue to make memories together, continue sharing in our kids' lives, being a part of their futures as they finished school, started families on their own, and realized their dreams. My son was loving, caring, funny, smart, and thoughtful. He too was a friend to everyone, including me. I could not have been more proud of him and the respectful young man that he was. I love him to the deepest of my core. He was and is my precious baby boy. His smile lit up the room, and he often greeted loved ones with rib-crushing hugs. Tyler was a very talented athlete and could do anything he put his mind to. He loved his family, and I have a big family, and we all loved each other very much. Tyler was especially close with his sissy, as he called her, and with my twin sister's 3 kids. In fact, my twin sister's 3 kids were more than just cousins. They were siblings. They all grew up, went to school, and did practically everything together. They were very similar in ages. Tyler's friends were important to him too, and that includes his girlfriend, Alexis. Tyler told me when he first met Alexis that he wanted to do things right and not screw it up with her. He said that she was special, and he really wanted to build a good relationship with her. He made me promise that I would welcome her and treat her like family, as I had done for my daughter's boyfriends. His smile was as big as could be whenever he was around her. Tyler lived each day to the fullest, and he couldn't wait to graduate, start his own business, and carry out plans for the future with his sister, cousins, girlfriend, and family. But all of Tyler's dreams and Rich's dreams, Alexis's dreams, and our entire family's dreams and plans for the future were shattered into a billion pieces on the night of February 20th, 2016. I will never forget that night. It replays in my mind repeatedly, despite how hard I try for it not to. Every day I wake up to the reality that 2 people that I loved more than life itself are gone, and I have to wipe my tears alone, swallow the lump in my throat, ignore the sadness that is deep in my core, and I have to get up anyway and do what I need to do to be here for my daughter and other family members, to go to work and pretend that everything is okay. I cannot explain to anyone how impossible it is to not have your soulmate and best friend there to comfort you as you face the loss of your child. The waves of grief knocked me to my feet then and still now. I fall to the floor, screaming, crying so loud that no sound comes out. I feel my heart and soul have been completely ripped out and destroyed beyond repair. I still text and call their phone numbers out of habit, only to get no response and then to remember why. I turn around in my home and call their names out of habit when I wish to share something with them. I yearn for someone to talk to, but not just anyone, but my husband or my son. Watching my daughter, my nephews, my nieces, my sisters, and extended family struggle daily with how to move on and not knowing what to do to help them. Watching Alexis struggle with many of the same things that I struggle with, losing her soulmate, whom she thought would be her future husband. Feeling the weight of the world on my shoulders every single day, and reliving the nightmare every single day that they aren't here. Sleeping with their dirty clothes for months after that day, so as to never forget their smell or somehow forget their presence, something, anything. procrastinating going through their things, even as the 3-year mark approaches, grasping at anything to hold on to, while feeling like life has been ripped out from under you and that you'll never be able to catch your breath again. Praying every day that it is my time to go to heaven so that I can be reunited with them and stop the hurt. But not only wanting me to go, but my daughter and my entire family to come too, so that there isn't any more hurt for them either. I am physically and mentally overwhelmed and exhausted from trying to process both losses at the same time, keeping up with the demands of my daily life and somehow learning to live without them. I am not myself anymore. I always feel alone and destroyed despite having endless supportive love and family and friends and a community as a whole. I have no expectations or dreams anymore. Ever since that night, every family gathering, event, and experience in my life is painful, as I now have to plan for how to memorialize them not being there instead of feeling the joy and happiness of our family experiencing it together. Any joy that I do feel is always overshadowed by sadness, all because of your choices. We did not want to have an only child. That is why Rich and I were blessed with 2 children, so that they would have each other when we were both older and needed them to take care of us. You took that away. You somehow decided that I didn't need my husband anymore, or my son. You decided that my daughter didn't need her daddy or her brother anymore. And you decided that my entire family didn't need those 2 very important people. Who are you to decide that we had shared enough? Who are you to decide that my son didn't deserve to graduate from high school, achieve his dreams, have a wife and family, and live happily until he died of old age someday? I bet your son gets the chance to do that. Mine won't. You have children and you have a spouse, so why did you have to take mine away from me? What gives you the right to not only destroy my family, but your own as well, and all the other innocent families? What were you thinking, that this would be a good experience for your kids? You'd be a good role model for them? And that they would be proud of you? When you were shooting my son, and the 9 bullets were riveting in and out of his body as he was dying on the ground, were you thinking of your son? Were you angry at your wife, and that's why you killed my husband? Shooting him over and over 7 times as he lay dying on the ground. I don't and never will understand how or why you could do what you did to them, but I hope you think about it the rest of your life, every single day. I hope you realize someday what you've done to all of the victims, to my family, to your kids, your family, your parents, and to the community as a whole. And I hope that it haunts you, and that you experience deep hurt and sorrow in your soul for what you've done every day for the rest of your life. Even though I get sick to my stomach thinking that the last thing they saw as you ambushed them was your evil face, and that I wasn't there to hold them as they took their last breath, I find comfort in knowing that they are together, and that within seconds of the horror, they were greeted and welcomed into heaven by our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and they are there now, safe forevermore. And someday, when you die and you face God, He will make the ultimate judgment for what you've done. And all I can say is, I would not want to be you, not here and not then. As for my future, I don't think about it much, as it is too painful. It doesn't get better, it doesn't get easier. I know there's a reason I'm still here on earth, and whatever that is, it is for the glory of God's kingdom. The best I hope for is to help as many people as I can and to survive until my Lord and Savior calls me home. I get through each day by praying to God and by his love and grace. I will never let go of loving Rich and Tyler, of honoring them and all of the other victims, and I will never stop missing them. I consider that I love angels now, and I will do my best to be strong and brave and give to others so as to impact people as Rich and Tyler did, and carry on the legacies of all of those who were lost and impacted that tragic night. I will forever be Tyler strong, Smith strong, and forever strong. Thank you.
Your Honor, the victim of count 15 is Tiana Carruthers.
My name is Tiana Carruthers, survivor of Jason Dalton's crimes. 2 years, 11 months, and 5 days. I've tried to hate you. I've tried to hate you. I can't seem to hate you. I've already tried numerous times. I've cried a billion tears. Oh, how my gears turn. Oh, how my tears. Now my gears turn, thinking, why would you hurt me? I pause, replay, and relive every single moment. Pause, play, rewind, slow, fast. I just can't keep living in the past. But it feels so fresh waking up in cold sweats that you, Jason Dalton, might come again and empty a full clip. Still, I don't hate you. Pause, play, rewind, slow, fast. I see pain in your hatred. Your pain is contagious. Your rage is heinous. You spread it like a disease. Who do you think you are? Are you at ease now? I've grown obsessed with you in a sick way, yet and still I don't hate you. I hate myself for not hating you. Is there something wrong with me? I ask myself. Is your disease spreading on me? I don't hate you for some odd reason. I want to hug you and tell you I don't hate you. You have no idea how much you've changed my life. And the little girls, names that you tried to, the little girls whose lives you almost took too as well, which we don't speak too much of them. Their names. My little girl, Kanaya, Dorje, Adriana, Joy, Tariana, and Selena. Their hearts were so pure, and now you've tainted them with your actions. They witnessed things that no child should ever see. My Kanaya suffers from nightmares, but lies to me because she thinks that she's putting too much stress on me, on her mother. She worries her little heart out each and every day because of your actions. What if it was your child? What if that was your child out there in the playground? You tried to kill us all. You failed. I'm standing here, right here, in your face, in front of you. How does it make you feel? Look at me. How does it make you feel? Just look at me. Look at me, please.
Judge, I'm going to object directing her
Yeah, this is a victim impact statement. She can direct her
She can direct
statements
her
as she wishes.
statements as she chooses, and the comments simply point out the fact that, at least at some point, the defendant needs to acknowledge the fact that he's had an impact on various members of the public. So if he chooses to participate, the court would note that. If he chooses not to participate, the court would likewise note that.
The young ladies have something to say as well. Kanaya, my daughter, if I had something to say to Jason Dalton, I would say, do you really feel my pain? Maybe not. You really hurt my heart for all the hate you done to me. You give me nightmares and I cry and yell in my sleep, and I end up late for school. I can't focus, up with all the work. Well, you should be ashamed and admit you tried to kill my mom. That's my love of my life. Think before you do. Killing others is not happiness. Well, I would spend my life with my mom, and I don't want to say it, but I tried to hate you, but I can't. It's just hard to be 8 years old at the time, to die. I should be able to go outside and play with my friends and my mom at the park without a crazy man coming, shooting out with nowhere to go. I should make it to college, so be glad I can't hate you, but others might. So if you don't, that makes life harder. So when you admit you don't have to keep going to trial, and I'm going to pray for you. Jesus does not like the hate that you give to others, so show others love. Sincerely, Kanaya. I have nothing else to say.
For speaking up.
Your Honor, unless I missed someone, that is all the victims who indicated that they'd like to address the court today. As I know is the court's practice, the court has received numerous victim impact statements. I know as it is always the court's practice to read them and take them very seriously, but just want to acknowledge that for the record, and that there was a lot of folks who had things they wanted the court to know in those statements that they were not able to say in court here today. So I'd ask the court to consider those, as it always does.
Getting.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court. According to the pre-sentence investigation report, it's been 1,080 days. Mr. Dalton has been in jail in Kalamazoo. 1,080 days since he left Tiana Carruthers crumpled in the ground of a parking lot, bleeding and broken, worried less about herself and more about the children that she was with that day, her daughter and her friends, who she had protected and got away from Mr. Dalton's terror that afternoon. It's been 1,080 days since he left Alexis Cornish hiding in a back seat after watching Tyler Smith and his father, Richard, be shot 16 times, less than 20 feet in front of her. It's been 1,080 days since he left Abigail, 14-year-old little girl.
whose life was being held together somehow by a police officer, whose blood and bones and brain pooled in her lap. 1,080 days since Richard Smith's last moments were to see his son Tyler shot, and then to be shot himself. The two of them shot over and over 16 times. 1,080 days since Mary Jo Nye and Mary Lou Nye, Dorothy Brown and Barbara Hawthorne were left dead and dying in cars parked at a Cracker Barrel restaurant parking lot. 1,080 days since he terrorized this entire community. A place I love, a place I work every day to protect and to make better. A place that's been changed forever by his choices, by his actions. 1,080 days in jail is barely a down payment for the damage that you've caused. It's nothing in comparison to the loss of a loved one, to the alteration, to the change in the future for Abigail and Alexis, Tiana. You're 48 years old. By my count, you're going to live somewhere between 25 and 30 years likely. Another 10,000 days. 10,000 days in a Michigan prison where I hope that every morning you wake up seeing the faces of those you've killed and injured. Where when you lay down at night, I hope the last thought is the damage that you've done to this community, to those families, to your own. 10,000 days doesn't come close to what you deserve. I wish somehow it could be more. Because you deserve more. When we leave today, families of those that you've killed, survivors, will gather together and we'll celebrate the lives of the loved ones that we've lost, the lives of those who somehow managed to survive. And we'll celebrate that you'll no longer be here in Kalamazoo. Today, you'll be taken downstairs to the basement of this building, placed in shackles, put in a van, and driven away from Kalamazoo. And I hope you'll never, ever return. They're going to take you down the road to Jackson, and tonight you'll spend your first night, the first of those 10,000 nights, in prison, where you deserve to be until you die. With regard to the recommendations in this case, Your Honor, the sentences are mandatory. For each of the first-degree murder counts, we would ask that you sentence Jason Dalton to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For each of the felony firearm counts, the sentences again are mandatory, and we would ask that you sentence the defendant to 2 years in prison consecutive to those underlying counts. With regard to the 2 charges of assault with intent to commit murder, the sentencing guidelines barely begin to recommend a sentence that would somehow fit what Mr. Dalton has done. Those sentencing guidelines recommend a minimum sentence starting at a maximum of 225 months, and for all practical purposes, that time is whatever sentence you impose is going to be served concurrently with the mandatory life without the possibility of parole. But we would ask that the court sentence the defendant at the top of those guidelines to a minimum sentence of 225 months in prison and to a maximum sentence of 40 years in prison as recommended in the pre-sentence investigation report. Today is the last day that Kalamazoo will suffer Jason Dalton. Tomorrow will continue to be a community that is somehow rallied together, that will support these victims' families, that will support our survivors, that will continue to be stronger despite everything that you have done. And we'll celebrate that you will never, ever, ever be with us again. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Solis?
So, Judge, given my client's entry of the pleas, the mandatory sentences, it seems like allocution would be without purpose, and so I would have nothing else to say.
Dalton, you may stand. You understand that each of the counts in this matter that you've pled guilty to have certain maximum or standard sentences and certain minimums. You've heard the prosecution basically reciting the various counts and the penalties associated with them, as well as the requirement of consecutive sentencing as relates to the felony firearms. First of all, do you understand that? And secondly, are you prepared at this point for the court to engage in sentencing? It's a preliminary matter. I would note that a number of people have spoken to me outside of court, and I've heard now in court the question, why? And that, as best the court can see, is only going to be known to you and to our Creator. What I can also say is that by your actions, Kalamazoo has been given an opportunity to show the world, in the words of Archbishop Tutu, that goodness is stronger than evil, that love is stronger than hate, that light is stronger than darkness, that life is stronger than death. That victory is ours because of him who loves us. It's a court sentence as to counts 1. I have to go through each of them individually. Count 1, that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections and be sentenced to a period of life in prison without the possibility of parole. This is to be served consecutive to those sentences that will be given in counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. Also, they are to be concurrent. It is to be concurrent with counts 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. As to count 1, you are to be assessed indigent defense fund fee of $1,795, court costs of $1,000, $130 crime victim fee, and $68 state costs. If there is, in fact, restitution that's owed, that is left open at this time upon application of certain institutions. I would take the opportunity to note that as part of the process of this community pulling together, a number of funds have come forward to assist the victims in their medical and ancillary costs. Those institutions, I believe, should be given an opportunity to recoup such funds as they can from you. Plus, if the victims have additional costs associated with the crimes in which you were convicted, they should be allowed likewise to assess those costs against you. As to count 2, court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for purposes of classification and incarceration for a period of 2 years. This is a mandated offense, and this sentence is to be imposed or is entitled to have credited 1,080 days that you have currently served. This is to be concurrent with counts 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. In addition, the court is going to order that you pay $68 state costs for that count. As to count 3, the court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, serve a period of incarceration with the Michigan Department of Corrections for life, as is mandated, and that is to be consecutive to counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. It is to be concurrent with sentences imposed in counts 1, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. And there is, in fact, a state cost of $68 imposed as to that count. Count 4 is also what's called felony firearm count. You, Jason Brian Dalton, are to be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for sentencing. Period of 2 years as mandated by statute. That sentence is entitled to 180 days credit, and it's to be concurrent with sentences imposed in 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. And there is a $68 state cost fee with regard to that count. As to count 5, the court will order that you be remanded to you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections to serve a period of life as mandated by statute without the possibility of parole. That is to be served consecutive to those counts in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. It is to be concurrent with those sentences imposed in 1, 3, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. And there is an imposed $68 state costs for that. As to count 6, the court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for sentencing. For a period of 2 years, you shall be given credit for 180 days that you have currently served. This sentence is to be concurrent with any sentence imposed in counts 2, 4, 8, 10, 12, 16, and 14, or as 14 and 16, and that you are to be assessed $68 state costs for that. As to count 7, the court orders that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for sentencing for a period of life without the possibility of parole as mandated by statute. This is to be served consecutive to any sentence imposed in counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. It is to be concurrent to any sentence imposed as to counts 1, 3, 5, 9, 11, 13, and 15, and that you should be assessed $68 state fees on that. As to count 8, the court orders that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for classification and sentencing for a period of 2 years as mandated by statute. And against that sentence, you are to receive $1,080 credit, 80 days credit, and the sentence is to be concurrent with any sentence imposed on count 2, 4, 6, 10, 12, 16, and 18. And you are to be assessed a $68 state cost fee for that count. As to count 9, the court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for assessment and sentencing for a period of life without the possibility of parole as mandated by statute. This is to be served consecutive to any sentence imposed as to counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. It is to run concurrent with any sentence imposed as to counts 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, and 15, and you are to be assessed $68 state fee. As to count 10, the court orders that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for classification and sentencing for a period of 2 years as mandated by statute. Against that sentence, you're entitled to a credit of 1,080 days. That sentence is to run concurrent with any sentence imposed in counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 12, 14, and 16, and you are to be assessed a $68 state cost for that count. As to count 11, the court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be sentenced to be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for sentencing and classification to a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole as mandated by statute. And this is to be served consecutive to any sentence imposed in counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16. It is to run concurrent with any sentence imposed as to counts 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 13, and 15, and you are to be assessed a $68 state fee cost as to that. As to count 12, the court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for purposes of classification and incarceration for a period of 2 years as mandated by statute. Any sentence that has been imposed under this count is entitled to a 1,080-day credit for the time that you have currently served. The sentence is to be concurrent with those counts imposed in counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 14, and 16, and you are to be assessed $68 state fee for that count. As to count 13, that is the assault with intent to commit murder. The court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for purposes of classification and incarceration for a term of 225 months, which works out to 18 years, 9 months, to a maximum of 40 years. This is to be served consecutive to the sentences imposed in counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16, and concurrent with those sentences imposed in counts 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 15, and you should be assessed $68 state fee for that. As to count 14, the court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for classification and incarceration in state institution for a period of 2 years as required by statute. Any sentence that is imposed under this particular count is to receive credit for 1,080 days that you have currently served. And this is concurrent with counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 16, and you are to be assessed $68 state costs. As to count 15, again, the assault with intent to commit murder count, the court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for classification and incarceration in a state penal institution for a period of 18 years, 9 months, that works out 225 months, to 40 years, that this is to be served consecutive to any sentence imposed as to counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16, and concurrent with any sentence imposed as to counts 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13. And you are assessed $68 state costs for that count. Finally, as to count 16, the court will order that you, Jason Brian Dalton, be remanded to the custody of the Michigan Department of Corrections for classification and sentencing for a period of 2 years as required by statute. Against that sentence, you are entitled to 1,080 days credit that you've currently served, and that sentence is to run concurrent with the sentences that were imposed in counts 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and 14, and you are to be assessed $68 state cost fee for that count as well. I would note that early in my tenure as judge, I was given what I characterize as sage wisdom, that our prisons are designed to be for those folks, not designed to be for those folks we are mad at. They're designed to be for those folks that we are afraid of. And you clearly fall into that category. Anything further, counsel?
No, to the defense, Judge.
Yeah, I just remind the court, I believe Mr. Dalton needs a copy of his appellate.
Yes. We have prepared the appellate rights document, which we will present to counsel for the defendant to present to the defendant.
I'll just note for the record that the deputy is just handing that to Mr. Slade.
Okay. Anything
That's
further?
all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
We'll stand in recess.
All rise.
Feels like something else should happen.
The deputy will let you know.
It'll just be a few more minutes, we'll excuse you. Just be brief.
For the media. All right. South steps.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and feel free to leave a comment. Have a blessed day.